Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am Kai. Oh my gosh, they can't hear me. Now you can hear me. Hi, how's it going, everyone? I am Kyle from Fantasy Forge Studios, and we are here with another session of Adventures in Middle-earth. We're very excited. Things are starting to kind of reach a climax here as they're chasing down these bandits. But in the meantime, before we introduce players, I want to bring to you guys a word from our sponsor. So our sponsor is Daisnaki. They are a Japanese sweets and luxury treats company, and this week they launched their newest matcha box. And so it only lasts for a month until June 14th, 2023. And of this year, I guess that would make sense. But they have all kinds of matcha goods, and honestly, you do not want to miss the matcha stuff that's here. If you order from them, make sure that you put that Fantasy Forge had sent you in the memo section. And then additionally, if you want credit towards our next basically giveaway, which is coming up very soon on the horizon here, make sure you give them your stream name that's for Twitch. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our party. Let's starting with Valinith.
Hello everyone, I am Forge or Dain here at Fantasy Forge Studios, and I play the character Valinith. He is a high elf from the city of Rivendell, and he's a scholar, meaning he's got all the heals. So he is just really excited to hopefully find that Vambrace and hopefully save some people today. So that's the goal.
Absolutely. And next we have Theodric.
Hey, I'm that Toby Australian. I play Theodric Grimborn. He is our man of Rohan, and he is a slayer, so he is kind of one of our frontline fighters.
Ooh, speaking of which, Theodric, I'm going to give you the opportunity. You never, at the beginning of the adventure, you actually did not spend your action that allowed you to reduce your wisdom and give you temporary hit points. Do you want to do that for this adventure or no?
Let me check that. Where is it? Bonus action. Where is it? Features. There we go. I might, yeah. So how do I roll that one? 1d10 plus con.
Okay. For every one that you use. So
I'm just gonna do one.
Okay.
I don't want to lower it too much this time.
Perfect.
1d10. That is an 8 plus my Constitution modifier, which is a 2. I get an extra 10. So I have a temporary 10 hit points.
Well, just so you all know, we're all learning this, and we're keeping track of everything and learning our characters. Some things, for example, like that ability, we don't use every single session, and so it's easy to forget it. I just remembered it, and I was like, oh, I can't forget to tell him. And then our next player we have is Jalen.
Hello. I play. First of all, my name is Leah, or Spiderfan33. I play Jalen Grinfold, aspiring warden to some, dog owner to some others, a great shanker of peoples.
Speaking of which, I have a token for your doggo.
Oh, he looks so cute. Hi, Rufus.
It's gonna be so sad when he dies.
When he dies, I will be dead.
So morbid. When he dies?
Do
your best to try to protect him.
Not to be used as a cleaning service unless otherwise directed by the label.
Well,
that is all.
Perfect. And then we have our last player, Feanor.
Hi guys, I'm Nick, or Lavacrest. You'll see me pretty active in the chat. I play Feanor. He's an elf of the Mirkwood, and he is also one of our other frontline fighters alongside Theodric. And he has his elk companion Nim, who he's probably going to try and call to his aid now that he's back near the woods. Let's go kill some bandits, guys.
And I am Kyle. I am your lore master here at Fantasy Forge Studios. Lore master, DM. I basically am in charge of fate and whatever the dice roll. I play the opposite of them. I play their conversationalists and everything that's here that's required of a lore master. So a lot has happened, and it is really starting to get right into the thick of it. So let's go ahead and do a brief recap of returning to Esgroth, kind of just a recap of last session. How does that sound? So, this adventuring party making their way from Dale, chasing after Finnar, who is a bandit who escaped their grasp in Dale as they went to free a bunch of urchins from basically his tyrannical rule. They chased him down to Esgaroth, to which they realized that a bunch of missing peoples were being reported, and they also realized that these bandits were not welcome in the city. And so last session, they spent a decent amount of time exploring Esgaroth a little bit, but trying to figure out where these bandits could be and what they have been up to which they spoke to a number of people. They spoke to the guard. They also spoke to a few people at the inn as well, to which they were able to track down one of them. Oh, no, I got to pull up my notes here. By the name of... what was his name?
Nomad.
Normad. What a
That's
guy. Yes, Normad, yes. By the name of Normad, and he basically told the party that these guys he caught late at night when he was sleeping on his barge underneath the docks of Lake Town, dumping bodies overboard and thus threatening him, saying if he were to tell anybody, not only would he be dead, well, he would be dead if he told anyone, but in order to repay him from what he saw, he was going to turn anybody in who seemed to be on their tail. And that night, they saw this Normad saw this barge go towards the opposite bank. And so, telling the adventuring party this after a lot of interesting conversation, trying to lure him, he's not great with social interactions, but Jaylin was able to make her way over and not only feed the poor man, but also discover some good information from him.
Jalen.
Yes, exactly. And they were able to kind of figure out what was going on, trying to concoct a plan. And so, without too much further ado, they were able to get a barge from the city guard without having to pay for it, which was nice. So that was a good plan going there, making their way across the long lake to the western side by the Eaves of Mirkwood, to which they found a covered up barge that looks like it was relatively fresh, following foot tracks all the way north along the shore, eventually turning west into the Eaves of Mirkwood. They were able to hear and see a young boy no older than 10 years old running out towards them, yelling, "Help! Help! Somebody help!" And that is where we're going to go ahead and leave or start our session off.
Very
So,
nice recap. Well
the
done.
the boy is far enough away. Thank you. The boy is far enough away where the party can just barely hear him, and Valinith and Feanor, with it being the evening time, are just able to see him. But everybody, with that, I'm going to have you guys, you all do hear it, react. I will mention, Theodric, unfortunately, you do not have your horse Baradrock with you, as it did not fit on the barge. But the dog Rufus is with you. Just FYI, just kind of keeping everyone in one place. What was that?
I feel naked without Baradrock with me.
Yeah, really. Okay.
I don't have enough time to unpack all of that. But cool.
Feanor runs into the woods.
In just like a random direction?
Oh, he can see the child. He's running towards that kid.
Oh yeah, same.
He's gonna try and run as fast as he can, quietly.
Okay.
So
I don't care about noise, I just want to get to the kid.
Perfect. Oh, can't hear you, Dain.
I've been talking this whole time, and
Oh,
that's the other thing. It's okay, it's fine. I was just gonna say, it's all good. I was just gonna say that Valinith pulls out his bow, and he
oh God, it's a
whispers
kid.
over.
Please don't.
He whispers over to Theodric, "Beyond your guard, Theodric. I can only hear." Can we see? We can kind of see the outline.
You can barely see him. You noticed him actually as he left the underbrush of the Eaves of Mirkwood.
Trouble is afoot, and we don't know if this is a dangerous or a safe situation. And then he starts sneakily trailing, not nearly as fast and at a distance in case he needs to shoot the child or whatever for any reason. Or
To shoot the kid.
well, I mean, like if it's an ambush,
Could
or
be a
something.
trap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They employ children, so like, or it could be a hobbit, or it could be a dwarf. Who knows?
Feanor's
Theodric
not thinking
is
about that. If he has to, he'll snap kick the child in the face, but
Oh my
that's
God.
not his intention.
The inner dialogue as Feanor goes running towards the child.
Theodric is running along behind Feanor. Oh, not Feanor, sorry, Valineth.
Okay.
Sword drawn. He's not as fast as the others, but he also wants to stay close to the healer for now.
Perfect. And Rufus is right at Jalen's tail the whole time, looking up, like, just kind of trotting alongside. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Dogs tend to run front.
He's a good boy. He's not quite knows what he's running towards, but he sees you running and he's excited about the running. So that's
He's
good.
glad to be part of it.
Bless.
But as you continue to run towards him, he comes bursting out, just full-fledged, like tears streaming down his face. At this point, he's in basically in earshot. He says, "Help! Please help! My father, his guards, they're going to kill him. We were going to Mirkwood, and they're going to kill him. He told me to run. Find help. Please help." And as he runs and he dives just dives into the arms of Feanor as as you're the first one to reach him.
Okay, I've grabbed him. And I'm gonna go, okay. I'm going to try and save your father. I need you to pull it together for a moment. I need you to give me directions on where he is. If you do not, he will die.
I'll show you. He's in here. And he's in a panic. This boy is probably no older than 10 for human. As a human, he's young. He's got very shaggy hair. The clothes that he wears is actually, you can tell that they're somewhat nice, but you could tell that they're old, and so they're starting to fray a little bit at the edge. And generally, like, he's like wiping tears from his mouth, or not from his mouth, from his eyes with one hand, and the other one he has like constantly on his chest, is almost like gripping it as if like he's having like cardiac arrest or something. But he's just breathing so heavily, and he's like, please, you need to help. As he begins he grabs Feanor's by the hand and like starts running in the opposite direction, back towards the Mirkwood.
Valnith is looking to see if there's any sort of knife or weapon on the kid that could potentially be concealed, and Valnith is just on edge about this entire situation. So.
Make an investigation check for me.
Yeah, 'cause-
Cool. I'm gonna be pulling out my shield and scanning the trees for any sign of an ambush or such like.
All right, perception check for me.
I'm sorry, what kind for me?
Ooh,
Kyle?
fun.
Investigation.
Can we switch, Jalen? I'd rather have
I would love to switch. Yeah.
While they're doing that, as this kid's starting to lead me off, how clear is the trail that he's left? Like, is it pretty obvious, like, which way he's been running from, or not?
Not really. You can tell that this is as you make your way closer to the eaves here, you can see that there's a bigger space for what you can tell from like the denseness of like all like that goes into it. Although on the ground, you could tell that this has not been traveled very well. You've really been making your best effort to try to track the footprints, and mostly because you were by the shore of the Long Lake, and so there was a decent amount of mud. But as you begin to turn westward into the eaves of Mirkwood, there aren't really any foot trails other than just like scattered mud a little bit here and there from boots. But it looks pretty fresh as he kind of leads you towards this small little opening.
But before we get like if I can see where the opening is, I want to stop a little bit back.
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell him, okay, I need you to wait here. My friend Jalen, she's coming through. She's a nice lady. I'm going to go on forward. If anything happens, you run to my companions.
Okay.
Valnith rolled a 13 for that investigation for any
Uh,
shanks or hidden dubiousness.
You look around his belt. He has a small kind of travel hood on, but not like a big full out cloak. And so it's pretty easy to tell what's on him. You can tell that he actually has like a very small kind of belt dagger on him. But it's very much child size, like almost used for more like, like scraping and like whittling, like wood chunks. But like other than that, there's not a whole lot on him. You do look up and down and you notice that there is a very bright, glistening silver chain that is around the back of his neck. And other than that, like everything just seems pretty normal as you see that.
Chain, does it seem to be
It's a necklace.
some sort of, it's a necklace. Okay.
It's a necklace.
I
Jalen.
can't see what the necklace is of.
No, you just basically see like a silver chain at the back of his neck as he begins leading Feanor away. Jalen, your perception check.
6.
Nice.
Big
You
stonky numbers.
Yeah. You scan the Mirkwood, and this is something that's brand new to you, as you have not made your way ever under the boughs of Mirkwood. But it is something that is daunting, and it rises in front of you, and you're not able to see much except for the looming darkness that is ahead. Feanor, you begin to run ahead. Everybody else, you see Feanor basically let the kid stay, and he like hesitantly does so. Feanor, as you do that, I'm going to have you make a persuasion check.
Okay, I am also trying to continue forward quietly.
Yeah. I'm going to have you make a persuasion check to get him to stay.
That's a 6.
6. No, I need to show you where he is. Please, you have to save my dad. And he just like bear hugs you as you begin to like move forward, kind of like around. I mean, he's not that much shorter than you, but like kind of like, please, sir.
All right. Just take a step back. I won't be able to defend us if someone comes.
Okay. And he still has his hand like to his chest. He's just like, okay. And the rest of you are able to catch up at this point.
Okay, cool. I'd like to like take the kid, like just to the side. I guess I don't know, just take him by the shoulders, just like rock his arms a bit, and just say, "Hey, what's your name?"
Belgo.
Belgo?
And he his head he shakes like very furiously up and down, and he looks down actually to your feet, and he sees Rufus, and he looks look back and forth. You've got a nice dog.
It's a pretty good one. I'm kind of worried though because he hasn't really been in a fight before. If I get him to stay here, can you look after him for me?
No, I'm not staying here. There's more. I'm sure there's more of them.
Can Valnith, as they approach, quickly give him a quick little pat down? Just quickly.
Are you disguising it as anything or what?
He's just like doing it in a way. It's just like, is everything okay? Like looking him over, but he's really like looking to make sure this dude's not holding a weapon or like got something keistered.
First, you're gonna make a deception check for me.
Well, not very good at those.
This might be our first deception check of the entire.
That's
Maybe
a 2.
not. Maybe not.
Doubt that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, as
You got a knife on him?
as you begin to do so, and kind of like pat, like actually like security guard patting this kid down. He attempts to push you away as he begins to clutch at his neck all the harder. No, get away from me! And he begins like kicking you off.
Valentine, stop it.
I'm just making sure he's not some sort of spy or something. You can't be too careful.
No, my daddy's gonna die! Help him, please!
Okay.
Yes, I understand. I'm just making sure you're not going to shank us in the back, good sir. I'm sorry, child. Okay. Is he good? Was he good, though? Was there nothing?
Yeah, there's nothing. Other than, like, the belt dagger that you notice.
He's good. I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
I don't need to worry about anything now.
Okay.
See, you're saying that now, but if he'd shanked you, it would be a different story.
Oh, yeah.
Belgo, if we're going to go, we need to be quiet. If you are not, they may hear us coming.
Theodric will keep you quiet.
No, okay.
Why am I? What?
That's vaguely threatening. That's not what he needs to hear.
I will
Yeah.
do no such thing. It's
Not
okay,
Lasagna.
child. Like,
We just need to, if you can try and keep it contained,
Okay.
that will help all of us.
Here's
We
what
need
we're gonna
to get
do.
moving.
Alright, you can come with us. that you stay behind me at all times. You do not get in front of me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
If I give him my shield, would that give him +2 AC?
Technically, it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have enough AC to spare though?
I mean, I'm more concerned about the kid, to be honest.
I'm not.
Neither am
Give
I.
him your great
Am I the
shield.
only one?
If he dies, our story continues.
He dies, he dies.
If oh my god, if Jalen dies, I'm playing Tad.
No.
God.
No.
We're all giving him
Tad has been on a hunt for Jalen this whole time.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a bit of a trade-off because if I, having a shield gives me disadvantage on a bunch of stuff.
Fair enough.
If you're
At
willing
this
to do
point-
it, then
Theodric's staring at the forest. He's like, do we really have to go in there? I don't want to
Yes,
go in there.
Theodric, the
We're
woods
trying
aren't
to
that
help
bad.
him.
I've
Theodric,
been there
I was-
before. I've been
was
there. I got
raised here.
lost.
Yeah, and that's your fault.
Yeah,
With
it
an
is
elf
my
now.
fault. I'm not an elf.
Yeah,
Guys,
I don't
maybe
like
we
it
should
once.
be quiet
Oh my
so
God.
they don't hear us coming. Okay. Oh my gosh.
This is serious,
I'm gonna
please.
hand over my shield.
I didn't do
I'm gonna
this.
hand-
Okay, Valinith did this by like patting him down and threatening him with me. Like, I didn't.
Is that all Theodric is to you, Valinith? A tool to threaten people with?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. He's the ultimate protector. Look at his broad shoulders and his muscles, and Balnus squeezes his biceps.
Okay. Like
I mean, these are good
there is
points,
a difference between being able to defend and being able to enact violence and actively looking to
Yes.
enact violence. It's like how you build your personality, and what you present to the world is actually a very indicative thing of like what you get
Jalen,
out of the world and how the
thankful
world
for you to
sees
defend
you.
me, but I think
Feanor
we need to go
starts
save
walking.
this child's father.
Feanor
I
starts
know,
walking
sorry,
away
it
from
was
you.
just-
We can explain ethics to Valinith later.
That was a tangent. Okay.
Show us the way, child.
I go ahead and give the kid my shield dedication.
And he reaches up like kind of timidly and grabs it, and it just like it's heavy. It's not an enormous shield, but it does actually have basically the logo, basically the sigil of Bree on it, and it looks very good actually on him. But it is very big for a child, and so he's holding it. And he's just like, okay, and he's just like, you could hear just go.
Can you manage that? Is that too heavy? for
No,
you?
I think I got it. As he begins walking
do I
it.
think he has it, or do I think he's?
Yeah, he's got it. But he is like very out of breath, and there's all kinds of things that's going on with him right now.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he's very emotional.
Yes. So.
now.
Please, let's go. And he says, "Your friend's already up there." He just like
Okay,
runs
as best he can with the shield. That's why.
as best as he can. Just it's kind of like
I will-
one of these
I will
things.
Draw my belt dagger in my other hand though.
Okay, cool.
To get that sweet 2-weapon fighting.
You begin to approach the eaves of Mirkwood, and you begin to feel the darkness that is looming up ahead. I'm gonna have each one of you make wisdom saving throws for me.
Poor Theodric. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Theodric.
She'll be right. Ooh. Okay. My
It's a
computer's being
17.
really slow.
This is my first time using my new dice.
Mhm.
Hey, let's
And
go.
hopefully
Hey.
the curse will be broken. That is a... Ooh, a 17.
Nice.
Minus 1, so
17.
it's a 16.
16.
I should actually use my IRL dice as well because
I got 12.
my
12.
computer's
Oh,
been
actually, no, sorry, it is a flat 17 because my -1 and my wisdom modifier is +1, so that's a 0. Flat 17.
easy.
Pretty good.
Okay, I got a 9 total.
9 total. Okay. You begin to enter, and this is something that each one of you've seen and experienced to a degree before, and the urgency begins to push you forward. However, Jalen, as you approach, you can feel almost this looming dark that is almost like reaching out as if to grasp you. You freeze, but yet for a moment, and you hesitate to go in as everybody runs up in front of you. And Rufus, still at your side, he looks and he whines. And he looks just as nervous as you are before entering in. You're able to gather up your strength and duck in. You're going to take 1 point of shadow.
Dare you?
Jason, you're looking rough. Your shadow points.
Oh no.
Lord, it's the child. It made you on edge. It made Valneth on edge, that's for sure.
You enter under and you bow between the two set of trees that are opening themselves up for the rest of the wood, and immediately all sounds from the lake begin to cease. It's almost as if it is like just pure quietness, with the occasional creaking of something large in the distance, and it's very daunting, very menacing. You look down at the trail and you see that Belgo, he's quivering. And there are a number of footprints, but also what you can see, footprints of ponies and footprints of a large wagon. You begin following these.
A quick question. Does the whistle I have to summon vary? Did we determine if that was like almost like a dog whistle where people can't hear it, or can people hear it?
People cannot hear it.
Okay, Feanor, sensing that something like this forest is kind of a little bit messed up, is actually going to, while he's like leading, blow into his whistle, hoping that eventually it'll give Nim enough time to get to it.
Mm-hmm. So you blow, and nobody around you can actually hear anything, with the exception of Valneth a little bit. You can hear something high-pitched, and Feanor, you can hear a little high-pitched too. And actually, full-fledged Rufus, he's just like turning his head like, what is going on? But as you do this, a bunch of birds in the canopy begin to fly off in all directions. But it's not audible to human ears. As you duck beneath the boughs here, and the ever-looming darkness begins to almost crush you as you walk further and further. Belgo, fearlessly trembling, but fearlessly guides you, as if almost this desire to find his dad leads you forward. And all of you begin to kind of stumble over the roots haphazardly, still trying to follow these footprints and wagon tracks as well. I'm going to have each one of you make a stealth check for me.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I know.
I get advantage on those ones because I'm in the woods.
Oh, good for you.
Two
Feanor.
23s.
Oh,
23.
Nice. I got a nat 20 for a 22.
I love it. I love it.
What is this again?
Stealth.
No. It's gonna be Feanor and Valneth clanking along in the background now. It's 15 for Valneth.
15.
I got a 5.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so Feanor and Jalen, you almost the shadows themselves that are around you, you're able to creep in behind it. And actually, Feanor, you pull Belgo to the shadows as you begin following, and you're kind of helping him lead. Jalen, as you're doing this, you can see that Rufus is sniffing the air. And then begins like sniffing the ground as if following something, but sticking right at your heel. This is kind of some of like the best commanded that he's been able to follow. You hear a large howl in the distance, and then it goes quiet as Rufus just. But the howl seems really, really far away. Valneth, you begin following, kind of looking around, looking back every now and then, with Theodric right in front of you as he moves. His chainmail is just making all kinds of noise as he's like climbing over roots and just making his way through. It's very unfamiliar, but at the same time almost nightmare-inducing. Flashbacks to his first experience of getting lost in Mirkwood. He's more concerned with finding the tracks to find his way back out again than he is with trying to be quiet. So he's looking all around in a very hasty fashion.
Do we hear? I mean, aside from like the whistle that I heard in like the distance, is there anything besides that howl that we heard?
The occasional crow caws, and again, deep groaning of the trees or something large moving off in the distance. But other than that, you do not hear the sound of wind. You do not hear the sound of water. You don't hear the sound of insects. It's pure
The
silence.
forest sounds unfamiliar, right? Like to Feanor especially, because like having spent a lot of his life in it, like this is more noticeable to him, right?
This is noticeable to you, but you do know that this part of the forest is south of basically the woodland realm area. The woodland realm tends to be a lot more bright and vibrant, as far as as bright and vibrant as Mirkwood can get. But there's more sound of wilderness, more sounds of game. But you do know that the further south you travel, the more deafening and especially like on the eaves, the more like almost just dead silent it becomes towards and you've done throughout it's 100 years you've been around, but you've explored here and there, not quite in the mountains of Mirkwood or anything like that, but the deeper you get in, that's where the big sound of droning insects and everything start to basically come. But on the eaves it tends to be more quiet than not, and so this actually isn't out of the ordinary, Feanor.
Okay, I do want to turn and be like, everyone stay close.
And as this is going on, can Valinith mark or like keep mental notes about like signs and things, just in case we do have to backtrack our way out about potential whatnot? Because
Yeah,
Valinith
absolutely.
doesn't like this at all. He hates this. He doesn't like it at all. So, do I have to roll for anything?
Nope, I'm gonna just allow you to do so. Fortunately, you have a lot of signs that life has been in here as far as like trails go. You can tell that this is an old path. This is a path where there is enough room, obviously, for a wagon to go through, so it's not weaving in and out of trees like Theodric had experienced before. But it is more like this hasn't been used for a very long time, and so there is a little bit of overgrowth. But if you're able to, as long as you're able to see the ground and see the big wheel marks that are there, you should be able to easily find your way out.
Okay, cool. And Valinith still has his bow pulled as he's continuing along, very suspicious of everything, keeping an eye on the child, but also just keeping a general awareness of surroundings if he can.
Belgo, as you continue forward and you begin to kind of rush, you're moving at a pretty good pace through this woods. It's not just walking and like looking around, but Belgo, he keeps leaning down and like rubbing his like hands inside one of his hands as he continues to clutch his chest. His other hand, he kind of rubs in the hair of Rufus. And you could tell like something about this animal is keeping him more calm as he's just as he begins kind of sucking back some of like the mucus and tears, trying to be as quiet as he can as you continue forward. And you move for probably about 10-ish minutes, and he says, "It's not far now, just a bed."
I'm gonna actually talk to him while we're looking. Helga, you said that you were with your father.
Yes.
What exactly happened? You said that guards were there, they were going to attack you. How many of them?
There were 3 of them. We hired them not too long ago, and they said that they would meet us here at this location before we went to the palace in Mirkwood. We always go to the palace in Mirkwood. We're good friends with King Thranduil, and we do business with him there, and if we met here, that they would meet us, but something happened. They said they weren't being paid fairly, and they were trying to kill him. They said give him all that we've got, or they would kill him.
Well, look at me. I'm a woodland elf. I know that this place is familiar. I haven't been here specifically, but the woods are something that is in my blood. We're going to try and get your father back. If your father still lives, we'll save him.
Thank you. And as you continue to move, you notice that it's become unreasonably dark. Actually, to the point where Theodric and Jalen, like, you can barely see anything in front of you. Valinith, Feanor, you can see a little bit further, but it has gotten dark. Very, very dark.
Can I unspool some rope?
Yeah.
and actually like hand it out to each of us.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna keep leading the trail. If at any point you fall or you cannot see where you're going properly, let me know. We can slow down the pace. But for now, trust me. And gonna keep leading.
The canopy itself has completely covered any trace of moonlight, any trace of starlight, as you begin to go deeper and deeper. This is it, I think. And he stops. He stops everybody, Belgo, and he listens. A little off in the distance, you can hear the sound of two men arguing. One is an older voice, and the other one is a heavy, gruff voice. You keep walking forward until you're able to enter into a small clearing. There's a little bit of moonlight that's able to trickle in. And as you look in this clearing, you're not able to see much. But you do hear the sound of ponies off in the distance, and you hear the sound of whispers. And off towards the back of this clearing, you can just barely see a man holding a torch up high. Gosh darn it! You give us what we're owed. And at that point, you can see that you can only see two men, and off to the right there is a wagon as the group of you begin to make your way into this clearing. This is a lot of
Pogs.
a lot of pawns here. Somewhere off towards the back in this area, you can see you can hear the two voices, but you can see two individuals.
Are they recognizable? At least as far as Valnith can see, or Feanor, I'm assuming.
Yeah, neither of these people sound like Finnar, do they?
Neither of them sound like Finnar. This man, actually, as you see barely off, neither of them are recognizable, but this man is big. He probably stands about 6'5". He's a large man, completely bald, and he's got this gristly, kind of a reddish beard. He carries an enormous club underneath his arm with a torch in one hand. He seems to be wearing what looks to be some kind of pretty old armor. But you can tell that this armor is very small on him. Actually, you can tell it's supposed to be long sleeve, but it only goes up to like halfway up above his arm, his forearm, halfway up his forearm. And he is gruff and speaking. I'm gonna have all of you make stealth checks for me.
Come on, Theodric.
Do or die time. Come on.
Unnatural
Actually-
20.
Yeah, let's
Whew.
go.
I'm gonna roll my IRL dice if that's okay with everyone.
Okay.
Just because my computer's been a bit slow.
I should have rolled my IRL dice.
No.
I should not have rolled my
Too
IRL.
late, too late.
Theodric. Valnith did good. You got an 18.
18.
These dice are cat themed, and they betrayed me so badly. I got
Because you have a
natural one.
dog. That's why. The dog's natural
it
enemy.
Sorry, cat dice.
Put him in dice jail for now.
So does everyone else want to start with their rolls before we get to the bad news?
No, is it a nat one?
No.
Okay, boy.
Because
Yeah.
I did roll a nat one.
Oh lord.
Unnatural
Oh.
20 here. So
Mhm.
I don't think that cancels it out.
I got a 3.
I just hope that it means that they don't know I am there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And look,
I
if they're
was-
human, they're gonna have as much trouble as Jalen and Theodric are seeing in the dark.
You make your way into the clearing, and you all kind of gather around Belgo as you kind of push in towards the middle of all of you. You do so, Jalen. You make your way forward, and Belgo, he's holding this shield, and he's grunting, but you can hear the smell or the sound of heavy panting behind you, Jalen, as all of the sudden you hear Rufus. as he begins just howling, deeply, deeply howling. And Belgo, he shivers. This actually to the point where it takes away any concern from the sound of the chunking chainmail from Theodric. As Rufus, he sees the moon and he just begins just howling up at the moon. Hey! Who goes there? And you see this man turns around his torch and he lifts it up high to see if he can basically spread the light out amongst. Fortunately, all of you are just out of torchlight as the torchlight extends to about here. Fortunately, there is a recently fallen tree that seems to block a lot of the light. But you see the torchlight comes here, and you see as he lights and as he turns around that there is a caravan of 4 ponies in this area, completely stocked. But you don't see anyone other than these 2 that are on the other side. Oi! Who goes there? Speak up!
Does anyone want to try and do a quick perception check to see if you can find the 3rd guy?
True, because there's 3. That's a good idea.
yeah.
Valinith will definitely.
Because, like, I can't, like, I'm at disadvantage because it's in the middle of the forest and it's dark. Like,
Yeah. I'm just gonna assume that I can't see anything, and I'm going to
Yeah, basically you see like in the distance like a small light, like with a guy holding, but you're not able to make a whole lot out from that.
Feanor would like to try and like move closer, staying behind the fallen tree.
Okay.
Kind of like, yeah, just like a couple spaces up behind that stone. That's to the left.
Behind like this stone? Which stone? This one?
Up, yeah, just down one. Yeah, I'll quickly turn my mouse on, so just here.
Okay.
So like just like going forward so that he can like get closer.
Okay.
And I want to try and pick up a stone, and I want to throw it at the rock that the guy is next to.
This one? Back here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible Valinith could go the other way by the horse?
Okay. First, Feanor, I'm going to have you make a stealth check. Valinith, you're going to make a stealth check as well.
An 11.
11. Okay.
That's a natural 20 for a 22.
Where do you want to go, Valinith? By the horse.
He wants to like hop in the back of the cart and try to get. Like,
All right, so the light itself is being cast about here. You can attempt to stumble around. Fortunately, you do. You're able to get your bearings as you begin to make your way back here. You want to climb inside the cart?
No. Just like go behind it and see like if he can see anyone on this side of the car or like anything interesting.
Okay. Feanor, you begin to make your way up and you rustle. Actually, your feet catch the side of this tree, and it rustles a little bit. As you do so, the torch turns over from this direction as you see, I'm warning you, who goes there? And you throw the rock to hit the other side, and he turns back around towards this man. Baldur, no games! As he begins to raise his club over his head. Who did you bring? Where is that twerp son of yours? And you can see whimpering. What are Theodric and Jalen doing in the meantime? Rufus has stopped howling.
Okay. I'm gonna quietly gesture for both the dog and the kid to just stay. And then I'm gonna go.
Make an animal handling
around
check for
the
me.
Other way. Okay. First and foremost, I'm done with the cat dice. I'm gonna use this blue set. Yeah, that's better. Animal handling. 17.
17. Rufus, he kind of stands a little bit, and then he plops, kind of almost like that half sit that he's been doing recently, but then he fully sits. And Belgo, he begins to pet the dog. He's just like, please do something.
Okay, I'll nod, and I'm gonna sneak my way around this way.
Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so just like on this side of the stump.
Okay.
And then if I can pick up a second rock
Okay.
and throw it over towards the cart and the ponies here, that would be good.
Okay. You do so as it begins to
Yes.
clatter against
Using
the
guerrilla
side.
tactics here.
And then Theodric, what are you doing?
So I plunk him in the neck with an arrow.
Theodric is just kind of moving himself, I guess, in front of the Rufus and Belgo into
Okay.
like a defensive position. Just right there, and he is drawing his weapons as quietly as possible.
Okay. And with that, the man, he turns around and says, "No games! Be off! Be off! This is none of your business, whoever you are." And he's like looking around, basically like frantically. We're just getting what is owed to us, getting what is due. This man's a thief. As he begins growling. Valinith, you've snuck your way back behind this cart, and you freeze all of a sudden. As just on the other side of the cart, you can hear something moving something on the side of the cart around, as if someone's almost digging through the supplies. You see a face you are very familiar with. This is Finnar. He is not dressed in his normal attire. He is dressed in the same attire as this man up front. But this seems to be almost hanging on him. This is the best look that you've been able to get at him. His hood is drawn, and he has this long, almost like graying brown hair, and it's patchy in spots, actually. He has like these cracked lips and like this like constant smirk that goes up along like the side of his face. And he's like looking through some of the stuff they see, and he says, you can hear him speaking to himself. "Oh, this is good stuff. Yes, if we get this back to Esgaroth, we can." And he just begins like talking. "Let's sell this. This seems like we can last quite a while in this. Yes."
And it's
Oh,
very
look at this.
clear that this is
Very clear that this is Finnar.
All right. Can
It's a
Valinith
voice
like
we're all familiar with.
Yeah, sit and like listen just for like a second just to verify that it's Finnar, and then he's gonna quickly make his way to Iraq back towards the other end of the cart, not leaving the back of it, but like towards the other end, and he's gonna start gesturing as much as possible towards the others that you can see, and he's just like.
I'm gonna have the only one who can see you at this point is Jalen. Jalen, make a perception check for me.
Okay.
Love the charades of death.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have magical sendings. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, you see kind of very silently. You don't know why, but he like kind of just catches your eye as you look over, and he's like pointing, mouthing. But you're able to see that he's mouthing Finnar. Finnar.
Oh yeah, it's going down. Okay, can I do something? I can't catch the attention of Feanor. That's okay, because I can deal with this guy by myself.
And with and as you decide what to do with all this going on over here, it's kind of everything's happening all at once. So he hears this rock and he says, "You're not gonna answer me, huh? You stay right here. You're going nowhere, Baldur." As he begins making his way over to investigate the sound of the rock that hit over here. With that, he carries the torch and the torchlight. Feanor, I'm going to have you make a perception check for me.
It's the guy from the battle.
A 12.
A 12. You see, as this is happening, slowly bending Badao, you see this man by the name of Baldur. He picks up what looks to be a broken tree branch. He stands up quickly and hides it behind his back. What are you doing in this moment?
I'm gonna pick up another rock and I want to throw it like deeper into the woods.
Okay. I'm going to first and foremost have you make a stealth check as you do this so he doesn't hear you picking up this rock and getting ready to prepare. You are in pretty close proximity for him to be able to hear you, so.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, so a 14.
14. You do so silently. You chuck it up above into the trees, and a couple birds flutter out. No games! No games, Baldur! And he turns around with his club raised to the air, and he goes and he swings the club at Baldur. And just without further ado, Baldur just barely ducks as you can hear just this deafening boom, just like across the basically the surface of the rock. I told you, no games. Where is that son of yours? Give us what you're owed, and you will leave here with your life. And as you look, you can see that this rock has a decent amount of blood smeared all over it. The blood, though, looks very old, Feanor. Very, very old.
Okay, oh, I might regret this. Feanor is going to run in and try and tackle this dude.
Okay, go ahead and roll for initiative. So you're gonna have a surprise surprise for this, but go ahead and roll for initiative.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can we like all roll for initiative or?
If you want to. So I guess while we're doing that, Jalen, what are you doing? So this is all happening simultaneously. So we'll go to Jalen. What were you planning on doing?
I think Jalen would be turning around to pass on the message to Theodric, and then what happens with Feanor just catches her eye, like with the club. Like she'll hear the club go down. And
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah, when Valinith says the message, he's going kind of back just so he can kind of keep a side glance on what's his name?
Finnar.
Finnar. That way, if he does decide to make a break, and if he does decide to make a break, Valinith is shooting him in the back with his bow.
yeah.
Okay.
So.
And Jalen, sorry, what were you doing?
So yeah, I guess I'll try and get the message to Theodric first, and then hearing the club and seeing Feanor go for the guy. I guess I'll roll for initiative.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You hear this crack, and Finnar, he turns towards this direction, and the horses go, or ponies. They're actually ponies. They're not full-fledged horses. They go, you can tell that they are very, just uneasy from what you can tell, Valinith, and the kind of general vibes that you're getting from them. And they begin kind of like backing up a little bit. They're all tied together and tied to trees, so there's nowhere for them to actually go. And Finnar says, "Hey, just finish the job already. They have plenty here, more than what is owed to us." And he begins actually walking this way.
Valinith,
Like walking, like casually.
Okay, slowly tails.
Okay, make a stealth check for me.
me.
Jalen, so you're going to roll for initiative, meaning you have to make yourself known, or if you're going to try to sneak up and try to do some kind of combat. What's your plan here?
Did I get the message to
Oh, yeah.
Theodric?
Yeah, Theodric heard it. You guys were far enough away. There's enough commotion going on where you didn't attract any attention.
Cool. Let me
Luck has run out on Valinith's side. He got a 7.
You step on a twig and immediately Finnar turns around. Hey, who's that? And he fumbles around in his bag. You can tell, like, his eye, he can't really see. You have a moment to decide what to do, Valinith, as he fumbles around for what looks to be a torch in order to light it.
Valinith.
Shoot him.
Well, Valinith is actually going to try as quickly as he can, sprint at him and tackle him to the ground.
Okay.
Nice. I was also gonna be
Hopefully with the momentum carrying him forward, kind of like into the commotion, so that even Theodric could potentially see what's going on. Kind of.
I'm starting a trend of grappling, haven't I?
A little bit.
We want the village to kill him, right? I could just shoot him, but then that's not justice.
We want the village to kill him.
Yeah. I'm not doing any battle cries or anything, but I would like to just like charge across the clearing. So should I move my token?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do I do, by the way, for
Yeah.
that?
1 second as I'm finishing what everybody else is doing. By the way, Jalen, roll for initiative, and Valneth, roll for initiative. Feanor, what was your initiative count?
5.
Okay. Theodric, what are you doing at this moment?
Theodric is... he wants to run in, but he has decided that he must stay and protect the child. So yeah, he's kind of just like keeping an eye on... He's staying incredibly alert, because we know that there are 3 of them. We only know where 2 of them are right now. And the last thing Theodric wants is a hostage situation where one of these guys sneaks up and grabs Rufus and the child.
Feanor's going to be
What's his name again? Boulder?
No, Belgo.
Belder.
Yeah, Baldur is the
Literally
older
get
guy.
1.5. He's like, Theodric, where are
Okay.
you?
It's okay. Valnith is gonna be the one taken hostage.
Um,
Gonna milk
I believe
for-
that.
Jalen, what was your
Don't
initiative?
Sorry, I won't let them take you alive.
Jalen? Jalen, initiative?
4.
4. Oh, wow, you guys. Valneth.
17.
Whew. Holy smokes.
Rolled well.
Rolled really well. And
You were the only one.
at this moment, Theodric, I'm going to have you roll initiative, just to see where you're placed in this. There's no combats coming towards you at this moment, just FYI.
Okay, I got a 9.
Okay, sweet. All right, cool. And with that, initiative all set. Oh no, we're first going to do the 2 tackles. And so, Feanor, make an athletics check for me. And also, Valneth, you're going to make your athletics check as well.
All the 2 elves just doing things elves don't do.
It's not an advantage. Is it an advantage because he's looking away from?
No. Like he's very, very well aware of everything.
Say that you would get a surprise round.
Yeah, so that's what this is. And so like the two are the surprise rounds with out everything, because I hate to say it, but Feanor is definitely not going before a lot of things right now.
No,
So
no, I rolled an 8.
Valnith rolled a natural 1.
okay. 1 second.
Talon may need to rescue him very quickly.
He tried. He saw Feanor do it once.
Val's like, Finnar, we meet again. And it's like, who are you?
Okay.
Huzzah to you on this wonderful night.
And so, as both of you begin to grab, you see like this big, beefy man who stands more than a foot taller than you, Feanor. He turns his head around as you begin to tackle him. You, boom, hit him, and he does not budge. If anything, he grabs you and says, Baldur.
Made a mistake.
As he begins to actually take his torch and brings it towards your face. For that. And Valneth, that was a nat 1, you said?
That one. Yeah.
You begin to charge at him, and he heard you from behind as you begin to tackle, and he just sidesteps you as you tackle, poof, land flat on your face, prone right in front of him, and he steps right on your back. Ah, you look familiar. And you can hear that he's unsheathing something from his from a scabbard. Jalen, you're seeing this, but unfortunately, you've got a prone Valneth right in front of you, and you see everything. And there's 2 ponies to your right.
Okay.
Okay. And then what are you going to do in your surprise round as this is happening?
Okay. I would like to use my head to headbutt him and push him off Valana.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and make basically an unarmed strike. So that's going to be just like a strength check for me.
Okay.
You got this.
Wish me luck. I have +0.
It's okay. Same with me with the.
I'll use my iron roll dice, even though I rolled a 2 on me earlier. Nice, 14.
14. You make your way over and you, boom, headbutt, and you headbutt yourself right into his shoulder, into what looks to be ring mail. And you just begin like woozily, and you take in the process 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you just You
The
kind of
Three
step
Stooges
back.
skit or something.
Um,
What's going on?
I leave you alone for literally 10 seconds.
It's just like, what happened? It was such an epic plan.
It was a pretty good
There
plan,
was
but
no plan. I don't know what you're talking about.
there is no plan.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing was great. I'm not even joking. That's not sarcasm. And look where we are now.
Valinith, it is your turn in the combat round. So you have Finnar with a boot on top of you. Jalen is kind of a little bit dazed as she's getting herself kind of together. You are currently prone at the moment. What are you going to do in this moment?
Valinith is gonna scream at the top of his lungs. He's going to scream, "How dare you put a foot on my back, sir!" And he's going to attempt to wriggle out of it.
Okay, I'm going to have you, as he pushes down further, he's just laughing. As you can tell that he is just having all of the fun in the world here. To think that you've made your way all the way here chasing me. Well, what a fitting place for an end to come to you all. And he begins basically lunging down with his dagger. But first, I'm going to have you make an athletics check for me.
Lord. Oh. Why athletics? Why is everything athletic?
You're pushing him off of you.
I know.
Okay.
I know. It's fine. Can someone please give me inspiration?
I mean, she's in the chat. She's the one to ask.
No, I know. It's just like, you know.
I can just get you to roll a d16.
I can roll a d16. If someone... Alright. So, okay, there we go. D16, here we go. And that is a 3.
Ah!
Oh.
So Valinith rolled a 7. So he's just gonna be wriggling.
Considering Theodric has not moved, could we count his actions as held? Or...
So this is technically the top of the first round of combat.
Oh,
I will...
surprise round, or...
Yeah, so the first one was a surprise round. I will say that you have a surprise round held.
Okay.
No one knows that you're there, so you are technically still in the surprise. And that's why I had you roll for initiative early. Technically, you're not part of the encounter yet.
Okay.
Does that struggle currently count as, like, what kind of action? Is it
That's an
full
action. That's an
Okay,
action.
So do I still have, like, a bonus action?
You have a bonus action for sure.
Okay. He's going to, if he can, just try to make himself as stealthy as possible, like just moving around on the ground. You know, the
Just
foot's on his
flailing.
back, but that's-
Wiggling like a
that's-
fish about
yeah,
to be skewered.
He's
That's
not giving him
gonna
a
help.
clean shot. He's really trying his best. To, like,
Instead of him
Trying
just
to
like
do the
stabbing you
dodge
in the
action
side, nuts
while
through the lung.
prone, while there's a foot on him.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
it's rough.
Anything,
as you begin wriggling, he just, and you can feel like the pressure as, like, you can tell he's starting to lunge downwards, which it is his turn at this moment. So as he does so, well, you're prone, so he's got advantage on that. However, he rolled a... That is going to be an 8 total.
No, the wriggling works.
An 8 total. As his dagger, boom, stay still, boom, as he stabs again, and he just like misses. As you're just like around, he's just like, all right, remember your training, Finnar. Center mass. As he begins attempting to go.
Okay. While this is happening, Theodric has heard the "Get your boot off my back," and he's turned and he's looked at I forgot his name again. The kid.
Belgo.
Belgo, stay right here. Scream if you need help. I'll be right back. I've got to save my friends and your dad. Okay? Rufus will protect you.
Okay.
And
Can
with
Valinith,
that,
without an action, viciously mock as this is happening? It doesn't do anything.
this mockery doesn't exist.
Vicious mockery is a cantrip, sir.
Okay. Now
Well, it doesn't
Theodric
do
would like
anything.
to move. Actually, would you say the fallen tree is half cover?
The fallen tree is half cover, and because this technically is counting as your surprise round, I'm going to allow you to be able to use anything that you want in a full action, such as like a sprint or anything like that.
Okay. Theodric is going to sneak up to here. Can
Okay.
you see my mouse?
Yep.
About here, sorry. Just so Jalen's not in the crossfire.
Okay.
And he is going to throw one of his...
Oh, by the way, Feanor, can you roll a d4 for me?
Oh,
I
no.
fully thought you were about to say rock, and I was so ready to disown you.
A 4.
Okay.
But yes, I'm going to throw a hand axe at him.
Okay, so at this, the burly guy.
No.
Oh, Finnar. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Feanor. Everyone's a pan.
I'm gonna say, so technically...
Or is
10,
Jalen in
20,
It's all good. It's all
30,
good. No
40
problem.
feet. Do you have that range to be able to throw that?
It says range 20 to 60.
Okay, yeah, so you're good. So it's going to be made at disadvantage because that's the long distance.
Valinith doesn't mind if you don't hit. What's his name? You can help Feanor.
I can help Feanor.
if you want. That's up to Theodric. That's up
He's
to
about to
Theodric.
burn my face off.
Okay. Can't tell what's squares and what's not.
Good thing I don't have a beard, or else this would be extra uncomfortable.
10, 20, 30. 10, 20. Could I reach the big dude? Is all I'm trying to ask. I think I can.
So it depends. This is going to be difficult terrain as you attempt to go through here. So each space counts as 10 feet within here. So if you you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 45, 55, 65 would be here.
Okay. I'll just throw my throwing axe at the big dude
Okay.
from where I am.
Sure. Go ahead and yeah, he's definitely within range. So you go ahead and roll it attack. Yeah, it's a surprise round, so feel free.
If it's do you get advantage on surprise or not? You just get normal, yeah.
Advantage.
You get-
Okay, it is with
Yeah, he's basically he has no idea that this is. It's basically like surprise sneak attack kind of.
That's an 11.
11. Okay, you throw your dagger, and it actually goes off into the distance, into the Mirkwood. Or not dagger, axe, as it goes off into the distance. You missed so much to the point where he didn't even know that you threw anything at him.
Nice.
So
My stealth remains unbroken.
true. And as you went away, you say,
Going around to see it.
"It's okay, doggy." You belgo as he was. "It's okay, doggy. We'll be okay. We'll be okay." Yeah. So you make your way in, and we'll just continue with the round of combat. So that was Finnar's turn after he did his thing, which then brings this guy. So he's got.
Gentlemen, aren't you?
He's got you grappled. It's just like an elf.
You're trespassing. This is my backyard. You should get lost.
I knew you had friends in high places, Baldur, but an elf.
Baldur.
And he begins, and he's gonna go ahead and make basically this scorch attack at you. I'm gonna have you make a Constitution saving throw for me as he does so. Basically, grappling you.
Big skin.
Attempts to catch you on fire.
I rolled an 8.
An 8, okay. You're going to go ahead and take 4 points of fire damage as he just begins scorching your face, and he begins... Oh, it feels good. It feels good, don't it? And he turns his head, and he's now looking at Baldur. You see? You better pay us what we're owed, or this could be you. As it begins just like scorching your face. Yeah. At that point, we're going to now jump into Theodric. It is your turn.
Okay. Theodric, seeing this, is moving forward.
Okay.
And he's going to attack the big dude.
So this way across?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make an acrobatics check as you jump over the kind of the broad section of this tree.
Oh, my beautiful complexion.
It's a 6.
6. Yeah,
What
you
the heck is
you
happening?
basically flop and fall prone in this tree. You can spend half of your movement to get up,
Already.
yeah, and then
Oh, book
rush
of
in for the
Name
rest of it.
Inspiration.
Well,
Yeah, you do. You see him, and you basically he's got a Theodric.
Which just gave inspo. Was that for me or?
I don't know. They didn't
who's it
say.
for, Book? Who's it for? You gotta say.
This is important.
Yeah, this is important.
Yes, we have
Theodric,
it
you
for
see that
Who is it for?
he's burning him like this, facing Baldur, and so you're coming from behind, and
It
so
is for me.
yeah.
Excellent. That was an acrobatics check, wasn't it? Or
That was an acrobatics check, which you don't have to use it now. You're able to spend half your movement and get up, and you still have enough movement to make your way in to attack him. Just FYI.
I thank you very much, Bookish. I'm gonna keep that for something desperate. I'm gonna use that later. For something desperate.
Yeah, it's very good. It doesn't have to be used for the current
it's
roll.
bound to happen. I'm gonna tell you, Theodric.
Oh yeah, with the way I'm rolling.
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah, you come at him, and this is going to be an advantage, whatever attacks or anything you're wanting to do.
I'm going to just swing my longsword at him.
Okay. Yeah, just you begin bringing your sword down upon the back of this giant man.
Does a 20 hit?
20 will hit. Yeah, for sure that hits.
Okay. That is 10 points of slashing damage.
Oh. Holy smokes. Nice. And
As
with
I do this, Theodric's, how about you pick on somebody your own size, Baldy?
as you do this, you hear as your sword comes down and cleaves right between the armor and his neck, just right here, kind of into the muscle, and you can tell you've hit thick muscle as you just draw your sword out. It's just, there's more of them, and he throws Feanor to the side as he turns around to confront you, Theodric. Feanor, I'm going to have you make a dexterity saving throw as you're thrown back 5 feet.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Oh, yeah, you're just... And then you're able to actually re-engage immediately without spending any movement, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And so you do so. You kind of just like the anime, like slide back, and you just begin to just do whatever you're going to do when your turn comes. He says, I thought we were the only bodyguards that you hired, Baldur. And he drops his torch as he begins to wield this club with 2 hands. Give it all you've got. Yeah, this man is big, and even to you, Theodric, like, this guy still stands a couple inches taller than you. He's a big, burly dude. Sweet. Which then brings us down to Feanor. It is your turn.
Cool. I'm going to... Let me see which... no, I'm going to try and use my Great Spear. No,
Okay.
No, I'm going to keep my shield on, actually. And I'm just going to use my spear in one hand.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and hit him.
Perfect. And so, yeah, absolutely. You go ahead and you pull out your spear and your shield, and you just go thrust it towards him. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
I rolled a 22.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Slayer Bro's getting some good rolls.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we're talking about.
And I dealt 6 damage.
6 damage. All right. Ugh. As you stab him, like, kind of like upwards in the chest, and just, and it sinks in a little bit as you pull out already, basically defensive position up. He just goes, I've had enough of you. Hey, Feanor! And as the Feanor, he shouts back, "Oi, boss, I'm a little bit busy here." As he is fighting off, bringing Jalen. It's your turn.
Nice. Well, I will. Okay. I want to try and like grab his middle so he goes prone, so I can get on top of him instead.
Kind of like a suplex? Like grab him and just, or like bring him, or like what's the deal?
Just, like,
MMA going for the mount.
the objective is to push him over.
Okay, so he's like on top, and so you're just kind of like charging him and pushing him over. Okay. I'm gonna have you make an athletics check for me. This is gonna be contested against a dexterity saving throw.
This trend of me trying to get you guys to grapple people. It's
I
can't
mean,
get
I don't know what else to do. He's on top of Valina.
Yeah, stab him.
Not that.
Valinith is trying to fart out like stink bombs at him, you know?
I get gassy when I panic. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Your
I got a
face has been
15.
driven into the mud. by the
I know,
way.
right?
Like, oh,
He's not happy.
All right, Jalen.
I got a 15.
15.
Can't tell if that's a good face or not.
It's a face.
I'm
It's
thinking
always
about
a
it.
good face.
Roll a d20 for me. On a roll of a 10, on a roll of an 11 through 16, you win this because you tied him.
But does Valinith wriggle and help at all?
Not really. It saved you from getting whacked, stabbed a couple of times.
Okay,
I'm gonna
I'll take
roll.
what I can get.
Thinking, so.
I'm gonna roll my iron roll.
Okay. On a roll of 11 through 20, you succeed.
It's a 7.
7. Ugh. As you begin to grab him and pull him off, you see that this guy, and as you begin to like grab him to like push him off, he puts his arm around you and says, Brindle talked about you, girl. As he begins to just like laugh maniacally as he is going to attempt to stab you, as he's got you in one arm and basically Valinith down below.
Can I stab him with my dagger as a bonus action?
Bonus action? No. So do you
don't-
have like
don't
two-handed
add
fighting?
Your dexterity. Yeah, I have 2-weapon fighting.
Okay.
you just don't get to add your proficiency.
Okay.
Is that what
Bonus
two-weapon
modifier. You
fighting
basically
does?
just roll a d20, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, okay.
As long as you're
so-
proficient in it, you can technically, you just don't get any bonuses. At least in standard 5e, so.
Yeah,
but
most
you
of
don't
the
add
rules
your
are the same. There's a few
ability modifier
changes.
To the damage of the bonus attack, unless that modifier is negative.
Okay.
It's up to you. I was just
Feel free as a bonus action for your belt dagger. Is it just a normal dagger or belt dagger?
I think it's a belt dagger.
Okay, belt dagger's gonna be -1 to the damage. FYI. So,
Okay, cool. I will take it.
okay. Go ahead and roll to hit first.
19.
19 will hit.
Okay.
As you begin to shank into him.
Well, that was a 1 on the dice, so
You hit him.
I.
You hit him. And you find that it, like, you can't get through this mail, but it's just as you begin stabbing him, and he's just like laughing.
But
As
he is hit. He is technically hit.
He technically was hit by an attack, but it did no damage. Yeah, that's Finnar for you. That's good old Finnar. Awesome. And so with that, I'm going to have Feanor go ahead and make a perception check, and this is going to be a disadvantage.
Uh, 9.
9. Okay.
Rolling great today, guys. The worst time to roll as poorly as we are.
It's pretty even as far as nat 1s and 20s go, I think.
True,
We just
true.
roll
That's good.
one
That's good.
for
At least the
all.
nat 20s aren't doing a thing. And as with that 9, you're just focused completely on this combat that's in front of you. However, you do see that Baldur has taken this stick that he picked up from the ground, and he's going to go ahead and make an attack against this man.
Fight back! Fight back!
He does, and he goes, boom, and he swings it with all of his might over the top. And this guy's, like, from what you can see, like, relatively, like, just past middle age, probably in his, like, mid-50s. And he's not super well built. He's a little bit rotund around the middle, but you can tell he's working on adrenaline. He goes, boom, and this branch just breaks against him, doing nothing, absolutely nothing. He's just like, and you can just see how he begins like shaking as he just begins like he drops the branch and he backs up 5 feet. Baldur, what do you think you're doing? And he's going to go ahead and reach out to grab him. Or not grab him. He's going to make basically a strike against him as he attempts to back away.
If he survives this, we at least have a moral support dog.
Was that?
Who's backing away? Sorry.
Baldur is backing away from this guy. And so he's going to go ahead and make a strike against him as he does so, but unfortunately he does miss as he just whacks his club like around. Baldur's able to back away, and then he kind of crouches down. I'm sorry, and you can tell he's searching the ground for something else to try to pick up. In the process, okay, and that brings us back to the top of the combat round. Valinith.
I was just gonna say, if they happen to survive this, we at least have emotional support dog with us. It's good. Valinith, it's still firmly on his back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
With Jalen in a headlock.
He's going to one more time attempt to quickly. I don't know what he can do.
Hang on. Do you have a dagger or anything?
I do. That's what
Did you just try and stab him in the foot?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to reach
or the
around
leg,
and-
or just try to give him the old jab.
I'm gonna grab Jalen's leg for a little bit of firmness to be able to just hold on to, so I can torque my way back and potentially, hopefully, stab upwards in this direction.
Okay.
If I can.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack. This is going to be at disadvantage with your dagger. You have a normal dagger, right?
Yeah, it's a normal dagger.
Okay.
Attack. Oh my gosh, guys, this is the first time I've used the dagger. Used to using the
Look,
bow.
you still
Yeah,
haven't
same.
taken any damage yet, right?
True. No, I'm good. Yeah.
You're doing good.
Yeah, nobody's taken the damage, so
I have.
have you? Oh yeah, you did. I'm sorry. What how much damage did you take?
4.
So you're at
At least you weren't wearing your
21?
gear mask, 'cause otherwise it could have caught fire.
True. Although it was saved his skin, so it's good. Maybe he can do that same trick that Thandrul did when he fought the dragons, and he could just hide his disgusting burned face. Maybe Feanor can learn to do that. Anyways,
let's be honest. Feanor's the kind of guy who would rock.
he would rock that. That's true.
Yes.
He would.
He'd be like,
He'd be
"Oh
proud of
yeah,
him.
I got this in a fight. What do you think you could do to me?"
That was a 5 to hit.
A 5. Yeah, you reach around and you're unable to grab him as he's just like, "Hey, stop it, you!" As he kicks his heel deeper into you. Yeah, you're unable to land a hit.
He continues to squirm into the nuisance.
All right, Finnar.
Unhand me, sir! Unhand me! Unhand my compatriot, you mongrel!
Finnar, he's just like, not much good in a fight, are you? As Jalen is attempting to stab him in the side. Now, this is exactly how this is supposed to work. And he takes his dagger and he attempts to stab it into you, Jalen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jalen.
Is
Watch me
a
hit this.
yeah, really? Is a 12 gonna hit?
No.
A 12 doesn't hit.
12 does not hit. My AC is 13.
You have to shit talk back to him. You have to.
He takes the dagger and he just misses you completely. It's just, hey, stop moving. As he's just he's really struggling at this point to keep the two of you.
Come on, dude. How is this supposed to work? How is this supposed to work again? How is this supposed to work?
Shut your mouth, you! Know your place! As he's just trying to.
Okay.
You're not gonna get me like you got that poor lad Olaf. Absolute. Yeah.
Jalen, you and I are doing our job. We're just buying time for the guns to come and save us.
Great. So that's happening. Next is going to be this big dude. So the big dude, yeah, he's going to go ahead and with his club, he is engaged in combat with the two of you. He's going to turn around and see the slightly singed face of Feanor and turns around to see Theodric. He begins he takes his club and he raises it and almost kind of helm splitter action here down on Theodric. And so Theodric raising your great shield up to attempt to block this is a 18 going to hit.
That is my AC.
So that will hit. Okay, well, he is going to do... 11 points of bludgeoning damage as he just cracks you over the head, like basically over the top of your shield as you attempt to block it, and just boom. So that takes away all of your temporary hit points, and you are now down to 17, correct?
Correct.
Cool. As he just bops you. Hey, Finar. You can tell that there's like a little bit of nervousness in his eyes, and he says, "Where is that oaf? Where is he?" As he begins grumbling to himself. Speaking of which, Theodric,
My turn?
it is your turn.
Yo.
So, at this point, Theodric's like, so tell me, which one are you? Are you Kelmund or Jonah? I'm not sure. You strike me as a Kelmund, if I'm being honest. Jonah sounds like a much shorter man's name, if I'm being honest. Like, what do you think, Feanor? Like, Jonah sounds like a short man name. Kelmund is the name of...
Oh yeah, Jonah absolutely doesn't get any. Oh gosh, you expect him to it'd be a shame, almost a cripple. It's the kind of thing you'd expect from someone named like that. But look,
It's a little odd, yes.
yeah.
I love it. Enough talk. This is a fight here! As he begins, and he just like clobbers you in the head, Theodric, and just like is just like wrong place, wrong time. And he looks around, which then brings up Theodric, your turn. So I'm gonna assume a taunt. Like if you guys are like taunting people, that's not an action. That's just something you can do. Feel free.
I am going to...
You know, the bantering combat.
give the big bonk in play. I am now enraged. Theodric is now an angry boy, and he is going to attack with his longsword again.
All right.
Oh, okay, I am definitely using the inspiration.
Let's go. Book coming in clutch.
Maybe.
That's much better. That is a 23.
Oh yeah, that'll
My
hit.
original was a 5.
Go ahead and roll for damage.
That is a 10 plus... Wait, did they add the rage modifier in them? I don't...
Just check what your actual roll is. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
So you rolled an 8 plus 2 from what your strength.
Yes.
So then you'd add another 2
Picking up a 10.
with the rage.
So 10?
12.
12.
That's a 12.
Ooh, buddy. Yeah. You begin to just slash him up, and you actually this huge gas across his face, cutting his eye, and his eye begins to bleed, and he covers himself. He's like, "Ah, you filth!" And he gets down to one knee, and he looks at the two of you. This ain't worth it. This ain't worth it. Let's get out of here, guys. Feanor, your turn.
Yes, I'm gonna try and. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to actually chuck my spear towards the kid's dad, and then I'm going to draw my own sword and attempt to stab this guy.
Okay. Not throw the spear, but
No, chuck it to him.
Defend themselves.
Yeah, I'm not trying to impale the father.
Okay, alright.
It's like chucking it widthways at him, not with the pointy end. Just throwing it off in his kind of general direction, drawing my sword and trying to stab this dude.
All right, cool. You do so, and Baldur he stops for a second. And he has this half palm-sized stone that he's looking down and up, and he's just almost looking at you is it okay to
Come on, stab him!
yes. And he drops it, and he goes to pick this up.
Do you need a pointer? Here, like this. And I rolled a 23 to hit him with.
Yeah, that'll hit him.
Yeah. I actually want to try and hit him with the back end of it, so it's more
Yeah,
like
the
a
hilt.
hammer to the face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of the back of the head of the axe. And 7 damage.
7. Are you withholding lethal?
Yeah. That's why I turned it so it wasn't the blade.
Yeah. You take the blade and you just boom, and his head bends around as my headphones flip off, and he like falls down onto the ground, completely knocked out. And Finnar from the distance says, "Oi, boss, boss!" And he immediately begins to panic, letting go of Jalen and stepping back off of Valinith. He has basically like a defensive position, but if you have opportunity attacks, feel free to take them if you haven't used them.
I'm going to stab him
Okay.
so hard.
Valinith, you
I'm
can't
going
do your
to
opportunity attack quite
stab
yet.
him
Yeah,
so
he's
hard.
just cursing.
Yeah,
He's just like, you mongrel, how could you do this to me? And he's just brushing off his clothes and he's
You tad.
yes, you tad.
Yeah, well, that was a 2 on the dice. That's not going to get me very far.
Yeah, you miss him as he steps backwards. This is Gelmund, as he begins like backing away as if he's just going to just book it out of here. But that does bring
I get ready
us
to follow him.
to Jalen's turn. So
Sorry, just a quick question.
Cool.
What was Belgo's dad?
Baldur.
Yep, that's all good.
I'm going to try and dogpile this dude. Like,
Yo, let's
come
go.
on, where are you going? This is just getting fun for me.
All right, first and foremost, I'm going to have you make a dexterity saving throw as you leap over. There's ponies here, and the only way to get back around is to leap over Valinith. So dexterity saving throw for that.
Foot goes-
Understood. I got a
Valinith
14.
comes out of the
15.
boat.
Yeah, you just over the top of him. 14.
It'd be
Okay,
a lot
14.
with-
Yeah, you jump over the top of him and when you grab onto him. These are going to be contested. So this is going to be because you're like throwing the full force of your weight, I'm going to say that this is going to be I'm going to say an acrobatics check at advantage against basically a dexterity saving throw for him.
Oh, I'm glad I ditched the shield now.
Yeah, really.
It doesn't get a lot higher than that. It does get a bit higher. I'll take with
I
the
like to
first
hear.
one. Yeah. It was a 19 on the dice, plus 2 for acrobatics.
Oh yeah. You dogpile him as he steps back. You just hit him, and like now he is prone on his back with you basically on top of him, pinning his shoulders down to the ground as you've got him. He is squirming and wriggling.
The whole time. Can I use my dagger to like stab through his clothing into the ground to pin him?
Yeah. So that will be. I'm gonna say that you can just do that, just in general, because you've already used your reaction and your action this turn to dogpile him. Yeah, I can say that you can do that. That's fine. So you do so. And then that brings us down to Baldur.
And then
Oh.
like a final thing, I'll just yell in his face like, "Where's Kelm?"
We'd both like to know. As he's kind of like smiling, and you can like kind of like half smiling, like a little bit panicked. This dude is like,
in his face.
you can tell that this dude has like not had an easy life. Like his face looks like it has just been through hell and back. But like it's like
Excuse for murder.
no, it's like an evil ugly. It's
Oh,
it's
ugly.
Many points of shadow.
yeah. Ugh.
Almost
I'm
as
on my
much as
way.
you.
The age of the orc has come. No. Oh yeah, you spit in his face. You filth. And with that brings us to Baldur, and he picks up the spear, and he sees that Jonar is unconscious on the ground.
He is a Jonah. Oh,
Where's
we were right. He's absolutely a Jonah.
Where's my son? Where's my son? As he yells to basically the two of you in front of him, he steps forward with this unconscious.
Don't worry,
body.
sir. Your son is safe.
Don't worry, he's with our dog.
He's safe and is quite nearby.
Well, go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
somewhere here.
Thank you. Thank you. As he begins running off, which direction? Which direction? You say?
Just behind that tree. On on the other side of the tree behind us.
So he's going to make his way down in this direction as he begins booking it towards his son. Great, which then brings us to the bottom of the round of combat. And all of you hear a yell, Dad! 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 And now it's, as he sees basically his son in Baldur, you see as he stops dead in his tracks, he says, Belgo! No! Leave him alone! Leave him out of this! Stepping at the side is another bandit dressed in the same armor. Basically a dagger to the throat of Belgo. And your dog is just standing there, just like still sitting there, like unsure like what to do like in this moment. But just sitting there. I'm going to have you roll an initiative for your dog, Jalen. Rufus.
Okay.
Hey, Rufus, your turn.
At this point, because he is not trained, which you can train him as basically during the fellowship phase in order to get him to like basically act on your initiative, control him. He's going to have an initiative, and I'm going to control him basically until this point as an NPC.
Nightbot's gonna have to update just a shaggy dog who was happy
He is a board certified good boy. You got a 4 for initiative.
Okay.
Plus 2 dice.
Which brings us to the top of the round, Valinith.
Does Valnith know this is going on?
You hear the yelling, for sure.
Valnith looks over to Jalen and sees that, like, you know, she's doing pretty okay. And he asks, Jalen, are you okay? Do you need me to put an arrow between his eyes, or can I be off to bigger and better things? Seems like you got this.
I got this, Valinith. Don't worry
Alright.
about me.
And Valnith looks into the dark, see what his elf eyes can see. Does he see anything suspicious?
You can't see that far.
Okay, he moves towards the direction of the voice as far as he can.
So half of your movement, you stand up, and is 30 feet movement?
Yes, 30 feet.
5, 10, 15. Yep, you're able to see at this point.
Okay.
And you see that there is this man, and he is definitely the youngest out of all of them. He has almost kind of like this bald baby face. Not quite as young as Theodric or Jalen, but you can tell that this guy is probably in his like mid-30s compared to the other guys.
How tall is he compared to the kid?
He's taller. He's about like 5'10"-ish. But the kid is definitely smaller for sure.
All right, Valnith is aiming for the head. He's going for an eyeball shot with his bow.
All right. Go ahead and
He's
make an attack.
Don't get in that one. If you get in that one, that kid's gonna get shot.
Well, I'm aiming up in particular. Well, this is a great opportunity
Surely
for anyone.
Kyle wouldn't punish the
Well,
Yes.
this is
for having
also
an
a great
outlaw.
Welcome to D&D.
opportunity if you have the inspiration in chat. If it comes to it, I'm sure it'll be fine. But,
I
anyway,
should have given you bardic inspiration.
D&D
earlier.
cards.
it's all good. 20,
That's-
dirty 20,
Hell yeah.
dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Yeah, and who? That is 8 damage, right to the eye socket.
Yeah, you fire, and boom! Right in his eye. As he's just like down, he just drops the dagger as he's like down on his knees with this arrow in his eye.
I kind of feel bad.
Somebody help me! Help me, somebody! As he's just like squirming and squealing on the ground with this sticking out of his eye.
No, don't say that's like gruesome. That was a good acting job because now I kind of feel bad.
Well, look,
Valnith doesn't. Valnith doesn't.
Slit a child's throat.
Dane feels bad, not Valnith. Valnith's just like, yes, I hit my mark. The archer champion has succeeded.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That'll work.
Pretty good. All right. Finnar is going to attempt to escape. He is going to make a contested athletics check with you, Jalen. His is going to be at disadvantage because he is prone.
Yep. And I also have him pinned with my little dagger. I'm sure that does.
Yeah. His clothes are like...
Like the text.
What is it? Athletics?
Athletics, yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Shit. I kid you not, I got a natural 20.
And I kid you not, I got a natural 4.
Ooh, that fall is impressive.
Yeah, he's struggling, and he's the one. He's just like kind of half like blinded from like the spit that like you had like spat on him. He's not even like talking back at you at this point. He's just.
I would not do that, man. I've had plenty of practices pinning my sparring partners in this position. I know how to do this.
Sauce.
I love it. Jodar's unconscious. Theodric.
Okay. Theodric kind of looks down at him quickly and goes, I knew he was a Jonah. and just to Feanor. And then he is going to... On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is the other dude to stop screaming and clutching his eyeball and actually do anything?
I'm gonna leave it up to you. You can hear him scream. You actually don't really know like what is happening other than a dude screaming. You don't recognize the voice. You see Valineth, kind of. Actually, I don't think you can even see Valineth. No, you can't even see Valineth. So you just hear a dude screaming off in the distance.
Oh, I've got my arrow on still. Sorry.
Look, Deirdre, why don't you go help Jalen? She seems to be having trouble. I'll tie this guy up.
Okie doke. Yeah.
I'm having no troubles, guys.
Actually, those screams sound interesting. So I'm gonna make sure that's all hunky dory. And I am going to move down as far as I can to check on our boy and our dog.
Make an acrobatics check for me as you hurdle the tree, climbing through the tree.
Once again, that is a 6 for the tree movement.
Boom! You fall
The
down.
exact
That's
same
half of
roll
your
as last
movement.
You're not meant for the wood. Oh, there he goes. Into the tree again.
Okay, that's as far as you can move. You are unable to see anything that's going on up
I
ahead.
told you I hate the Mirkwood.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Awesome. Then we have Feanor. You're tying the dude up. I'm gonna assume that takes up your action.
Yeah, and if I can, I'll try to move over as far as I can towards Chan.
All right, I'm gonna say because it's technically 6 seconds. We're gonna use that as a full action to tie him up.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Tie him up well.
Yes, exactly. You tie him up very well.
Can I take his club?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great club. So that's fun. Yeah, he's
Okay, more weapons.
yes, he's got a great club. Actually, and with that, I'm going to actually have you take 1 point of shadow as you loot the body of this man.
He's unconscious.
Well, I mean, okay, depends. Are you taking it with plans to keep it, or are you just taking it away from him? Because that makes a difference.
No, so that he can't like.
Okay, no points of shadow then. Difference.
So you're not looting it, you're just removing it from his... so he can't hurt it.
Yeah. I gotcha.
more or
I would
less.
do the same.
I'm not gonna go through the whole effort of.
I
adding more stuff.
totally get that for
You can
100%.
barely carry what you do have.
Well, look, that is a very valid point.
Awesome. Which brings us down to Jalen. So Jalen, this has every potential for it to end with you as far as the combat goes. So, which is dependent on what you plan on doing in this moment with him.
I mean, I'd be happy to wait for someone to help me tie him up, but he might just wiggle out of my hands.
Okay.
I'd be happy to tie him up myself, but he'd probably just wiggle out of my hands. So I think the best and easiest thing to do would be to try to knock him unconscious and then tie him up.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack with whatever you got in your hand at this moment. And this is going to be an advantage because he is prone.
Okay. Cool. I'll just go with hubris then. Cool. +3, 14.
14 will not hit. As you,
Do I have advantage because he's prone?
yeah. I said you had advantage.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Oh my gosh. Well, that was not higher, so.
Okay. Yeah, you
Stand-
slam hubris into his shoulder, to which he's stop it. You can see that this is over.
I'm trying to make this as painless as possible for both of us, and you are very wiggly right now. Completely
He
disconcerting.
learned from Valineth. I understand.
Yeah.
Just stopped it.
Like he has not just given up. He's still like actively trying to escape.
And Rufus. He is it is now Rufus's turn, and he gets up, he's like and he goes over and he looks at this guy that's writhing on the ground, and he begins like licking the side of his face, like get up me, make you up. Please, just end it already. As he's just curled up on the ground.
Arrow in his eyeball.
Arrow in his eye. And at this point, he started to reach and is trying to pull it out. But you can tell he's struggling with the idea of, like, does he pull it out with his eye coming out? Or, to which, actually, because it is his turn, Baldur, he's going to go ahead and complete 5. So he's going to move here. Yeah, Kelmund, he is going to make a dexterity saving throw. And with that, and he pulls out with an eyeball attached to it. As he's just like curled on the ground, just like in absolute pain, just like holding his eye. And you can just hear, and you could just, he is all out crying as he is now on the floor, seated, backing up, looking at Kelmund, just struggling beside and seeing this. This is a very scarring moment for Belgo.
Literally.
Sweet. I will say this. So the next time that if Jalen is able to get someone else with her to help tie him up, combat will officially end. FYI. Which brings us to the end of the round. Valineth.
How far back is the dude? Can I make it back to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
20 feet.
I think it should be dude. We should do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna look at. He's gonna call back to the father Belgo. No, Belgo's the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The father, and he's gonna be like, "Tie that man up for justice, good sir." And Valineth is gonna go back and say, Jalen, looks like you made quick work of this. Can I give you a hand?
Yeah, thanks, mate. He's a regular and a half this week.
You must have learned that from me. I understand. Good moves, sir. And Valineth gets down and like pins an arm and like helps Jalen like flip him over.
Cool.
Keep in mind, Valineth's not very strong, so he's struggling with this too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Feanor, where do you want to go? Do you want to go down here, or would you like want to go help them out too?
I think I'm closer to these guys, so I just want to like go over to there.
Yeah.
And, like,
Very tied up. You drag the body of him over here. And yeah, you kind of all gather as you begin just straight up tying this guy, like hog tying him, and then like rope all around his chest down to his side to where like he is just like completely, he's the only one that is with it. Yes.
Cool. Can I give everyone just like a quick pat down? I'm looking for the vampires.
Nice idea.
Absolutely. You drag this man over, which the man I am spacing his name. No, not Kelmund.
It's Kelmund, Fina, and Jonar.
Jonar, yeah. So Jonar, you look down on his wrist, and his wrist adorned upon it is the vambrace of Numenor.
Yes! Okay. I just like hold it aloft and go, "We found it! We did it, boys! We got it!"
And Valineth jumps up and he
I
says,
I will go up to Valineth and drop down to one knee and just present it to him.
and Valineth just looks at Jalen and he smiles and he says, "The Padawan is now the sensei." And
It doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't, because it means nothing.
He's speaking in Elvish. His Elvish.
What is this, Sindarin?
And Valinith takes it in his hands and holds it above his head, and just the only thing that can come to his head at the time, not huzzah, but da 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 da, and he puts it on his wrist.
You do, and outside of all of kind of like the sweat that's there, it's pretty uncomfortable, but it does fit like a glove as you begin to put it on your wrist. Down here in the kind of lower Theodric, you make your way over to Baldur, and Kelmund is like still squirming on the ground, and Rufus, he's basically like going around like kind of like sniffing the ground like around. Not doing a whole lot, but you see that actually Baldur has gone over to Belgo and is embracing his son, says, my son, it's all over now. It's all over now. It's okay. It's okay. And he's just like cradling his son. He did not listen to a single word that Valinith said and is not tying anyone up.
Okay. Theodric is like, Belgo, are you okay?
He like nods. He doesn't really respond too much. Thank you. Thank you for saving my dad.
Everything's okay now. Rufus, good boy. Sit, heal or something.
Make a animal handling check.
Ooh, animal handling I'm good at. That is a 13.
13. You say sit. He's like, and he tentatively sits down.
Maybe Theodric should give him a reward. Maybe one that's on the end of a
An
arrow.
No, that's pure
That's
points of
that's
darkness.
points of shadow for
That's
sure.
points of shadow.
Oh,
no,
he'll love
don't
it. He's
do
just
that,
happy to
man.
be there.
No way.
He is just happy to be there, Rufus.
That is cursed. Like, if Rufus wanted to eat an eyeball, I'm sure he would have done it already.
Well, I mean, like, so the arrow is on the ground, and Rufus has sniffed it a couple of times. He hasn't eaten it. He hasn't licked it, but he's sniffed it a couple of times.
Okay. Theodric is going to begin tying up. What is this, Kelmund?
This is Kelmund.
Right? Yeah, he's going to start tying up Kelmund, and he goes, and Theodric's going to go. You know, I honestly thought that like you're a lot shorter than I was expecting, to be honest. You know, Kelmund's a big name for such a little dude.
Just end it for me right now. And like as you tie like his hands up, like he's like kind of like trying to like close the wound that is his eye, like with his eye. He's been holding it as you just like strip like down.
Don't worry, we have a doctor. He'll patch you up. Admittedly, he is the man who just took your eye, but he'll stop the bleeding. To be fair, you were trying to murder a child or threatening a child. You know how it is.
He isn't listening to a single thing you're saying. But you hear out of the soothing Baldur, he says, "Thank you. Thank you. You arrived in the nick of time." And he looks to his son, Belgo. Belgo, I am sorry. So sorry I put you in this situation. And he like begins stroking his hair. I am so proud of you, son. Your mom would be so proud of you. And he begins holding him to his chest and kind of like rocking him back and forth, almost like a baby. And Belgo is basically like crying into like the bosom of his father.
Your son is very brave, sir. Like, he couldn't have found you without his help.
He doesn't get it from me, that's for sure.
Oh, I think you have some bravery in you. You know, you did try to hit the big dude with a stick. You know, I'm trained to hit people with things, but you know.
With that, we'll jump back to that conversation. Jalen, Feanor, and Valinith, what are you guys doing in this moment? Vaynor, basically, Finnar the entire time is just swearing at you, cursing at you. Just.
Okay. I would love to gag him.
And you do so.
So here's what I do. Oh my gosh, this is. I don't know if I'm gonna get a point of shadow for this.
Depends. Let's
but
see what you're doing.
It might be worth it. I'm gonna take one of his boots off and then just stuff his sock into his mouth.
Oh, nice.
Nah, that doesn't constitute a point of shadow.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you do so, and
I'll put his boots on because I don't want him to like get cuts on his feet or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's what you're concerned about.
yeah, it's pretty gross
I have
though.
walked barefoot long distances. It's not exactly the most comfortable.
Can Feanor try to soothe the ponies?
Yeah,
Make sense
absolutely.
in the,
He's gonna
full
get
wildlife.
blisters anyway.
That's
because
true.
He's not wearing socks.
Walking through roots and all that fun stuff. He's not a hobbit. He hasn't made a hobbit out of it, so. Okay, sorry. Feanor, yes, you do so, and without actually
Kyle just
needing to.
gets 1 point of shadow for that joke.
The lore master. Feanor, you make your way over to the ponies, and literally with a touch, you begin to soothe, and actually out of the brush, Nymphiarion jumps out. By the way, that D4 was the amount of rounds that he was going to come in. So, he comes and he makes his way up to you as he sees everything that's going on.
Finally decided to show up.
The way I see it is just in time because you're gonna need a hand getting these guys back to the boat.
I walk up to him, I give him a pat. I'm just like joking.
And he kind of like rubs his neck like a little bit.
Seeing as a situation here is mostly handled, I'm gonna go back down to where Theodric and everyone else is.
And as this is happening, you catch the end kind of like Theodric tying up Kelmund. And you see that Baldur and Theodric are actually in a small conversation. And you're able to catch kind of the better end of just an explanation of what has been happening. I swear, I didn't cheat them out of any money. I just hired them as my guard. They were supposed to lead us through Mirkwood all the way to the other side.
Oh yes, don't worry, sir. We know these men are known criminals. We've been hunting them for quite a few days. This isn't the first time they've pulled this nonsense on people. You're
But they-
just one
they-
of the lucky survivors, I'm afraid.
They come at a high price, and oddly enough, highly recommended.
By whom?
Everybody in Esgaroth. They know their way through the Mirkwood. They protect everybody in Mirkwood. They know the route, and they are elf friends, supposedly.
Do I hear this?
You do.
Okay, cool. If I may interject,
Oh,
I don't think
yes.
these are the people you think they are. These men were spotted yesterday.
It's just dawned on Theodric. He's like, yes.
I
Your
I
original
look like
bodyguards
a,
are
a little
probably
bit
dead.
concerned towards the kid. 'Cause, like, I don't want him to hear this part. And I'll just say they stole a boat. Appeared to have stolen some identities. I don't think these are the men that you were waiting for.
Well, first impressions between us. They do not seem like the few that are highly recommended. If this is what you're saying is true, could you identify them for me?
Are you a local to the town?
Esgaroth.
Esgaroth?
It's been my home for as long as I can remember. Home to my son as well.
Then you all know the names. Jonah, Kelmund, and Fina.
His face drops.
That's Kelmund right in front of you there. We've been tracking them ever since celebration of the Five Armies, pretty much.
He strokes his beard, very scraggly beard, and he says, names are familiar. Yeah, they were in high standing not too long ago. What brings them out here, though? Haven't had any run-ins with them in my time. And he begins thinking.
The punishment for them coming back to these lands was death.
Ah, I see. So what you're telling me, not only are these individuals that, well, not the ones that we hired, but They are dangerous men.
Oh, definitely.
Very dangerous.
He looks at his
Very
son.
Wanted.
He looks at his son, and he just, like, kind of, like, in disbelief. Son, are you okay? Are you hurt in any way? And he begins, like, examining the faces. He kind of, like, keeps an eye on you, like, as if to, like, listen for more, like...
Yeah. And I will divulge more. If you ask any who lived here before the Battle of the Five Armies, I'm sure they can tell you more. These men have hurt quite a lot of people and have left the town scarred and hurt in ways that we are still discovering.
So, what is your plan with them?
Is
Take
Kelman
him-
listening right now? Or is he, like, unconscious? Actually, no.
Yeah,
should be, like-
he's in a ton of pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not listening.
No,
but he's-
no.
Well,
He is occupied.
well, the town of
Um,
Asgaroth seemed very keen on, sentencing these men to So, we're probably going to take him back there for that.
We'll turn him over to the local authorities. We've found what we came for.
He shakes his head and he contemplates for a moment. Oh, I see. Where are my manners? He stands up. Son, proper introductions are in order. I'm Baldur. I was once a, prosperous merchant in Esgaroth, and this is my son Belgo. He's a good lad. He loves animals. Seems like he's taken quite a liking to your dog.
Yeah, Rufus is a good boy. Hey, Belgo, did you see the deer that came in?
Yeah, it was white. I've never seen one like that before.
Fainal its name is Nymphiarion, and it lets Fainal ride it sometimes. You should ask him if you could go give it a pat.
Nymphinian. It's a good name. It sounds like something I can use in my game when I get back to Esgaroth with my friends. But we have some traveling to do. You see, Dad's got business. But I would love if... My dream is to ride horses. My dream is to raise animals. But
That's a good dream.
yeah, indeed. And he's like doing everything that he can to like shy like his like gaze away from like Kelmund, who's like kind of stopped and is just like softly weeping to himself at this point. Can I pet your dog more, please, miss?
Yeah, I mean he'll let you pat him all day.
And at this point, Rufus has come over and kind of over on this side, and yeah, thank you. And he begins kind of like petting like his ears and doing the dog patting thing. Oh, who's a good boy? What did you say his name was?
Rufus.
Oh, Rufus. Who's a good boy, Rufus? Who's a good boy? And he begins like petting in like Rufus's tail, just like loving every second of this. And Baldur, he laughs a little bit and says, "So your plan is to take them to Lake Town.
Yeah.
And if what you're saying is true, the guard that I hired, well,
They're probably
seems like our contract is broken."
well,
Yes.
not intentionally, I'm sure.
No.
Last they were seen floating face down in the lake, so they're not much in a position to take anyone anywhere.
And he says, "Well, I hate to think that our actions cause trouble for anyone, particularly you. The fact that you came to save us out of nowhere, it's as if fate was smiling upon my son and I."
I'll be honest, mate. Okay, we were out here in the woods tracking these blokes, and your son made it that much easier. We would have been out here who knows how long if we didn't have him as a guide, so I think we were both lucky in that regard.
Belko's a good lad. He's my pride and joy, you see. I'm a merchant. I sell things. I'm good friends with the Helven King. I plan to go to Woodman Town, to sell my goods there. All of the money in the world is nothing if I don't see a smile on my boy's face. You have done me a service beyond anything I could ever ask of each one of you. So, Belgo, what say that we follow these good folk back to Lake Town so we can, regroup before making our journey again? Yeah. But I know we plan on lots of time on the road, and I said goodbye to all my friends, but, and he looks at Rufus and he looks at them. Why don't we ask them to come with us? Clearly they're very strong. Did you see what the arrow? Well, the big guy. Clearly he was no match for any of them. And he kind of gives a soft smile. And he looks up at you. No. And then Baldur, he says, No, son, we can't trouble them, put them through any more. No, but you don't understand. We're good for the money. We'll pay you lots.
Well, I'm not sure exactly about the pay issue, but we'll talk to our other friends, and
Yeah.
I'm sure
We'll
after
have a
we
conference.
regroup at Esgaroth, I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out.
I mean, we can't claim to be elven friends or anything, but we do have
mean,
2 elves.
We have 2 elves with us.
Yeah.
You're saying you're not friends with Fainor or Valineth. Okay, I see how.
I'm not a named elf friend, but I'm friends with
Yeah,
elves.
just because we're friends with you doesn't mean we're friends with all elves.
I
What's going on?
kind of think Manuel doesn't really like me.
As this is going on,
reasons
No,
Valineth,
Theodril does not like Theodric.
Valineth and Fainor are in the back, and Valineth is just being all pompous, reading this man his Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, good sir. You have
As you just hear...
He gags with his dog.
He's doing things very officially. But in fact, you have no rights, you dirty criminal.
Alright. Yeah, I think it's time to regroup and get the heck out of this forest.
All right. You meet up, and Belgo, he says, he keeps petting Rufus. There, good boy. And he as you guys regather, kind of up by the wagons, untie the ponies and everything, and you see kind of make your way through and make sure everything is in order for his cargo. Belgo is just staring, his hand basically to his chest still, but he's petting Rufus with one hand, and he's looking up at Nymphiarion, and it's just kind of in awe, but just good stag.
Don't praise him too much; it'll go to his head. He's insufferable to be around sometimes.
His head is really, really high. Okay,
Yeah,
so low praise, right? Not high praise. That's funny, right?
Yeah. Let's say it.
I love.
Valineth chortling.
But I'm sorry. My name is Belgo. This is my da. Baldur, at your service. Thank you so much for helping us in, our dire situation, as it seems. You did arrive in the nick of time, and, we are in your debt. If there's anything that we can do for you, within our power, just let us know.
No, nothing needed. We came out this way to deal with these thieves. I'm just glad they were able to get to you in time. You should be proud of that boy. Only because of him that we were able to get back here.
And
one day he might be able to be a great warrior if that's what he decides.
He's more of an
Ruffle
animal
his
guy,
hair.
Fainor.
warrior, don't go putting anything in this boy's head. And he says,
Look, Sometimes
what?
great warriors get massive stags that run around with them.
Oh,
Phaedon.
Dad, did you hear that?
Fainor.
I'm just sitting there like,
Theodric over there actually has a Rohan horse. I forget what they're actually called. It's
Oh.
like war horse. Yeah, he just couldn't bring it on the boat. The boat was too small.
Dad.
But yes, no, I'd encourage anyone to be a warrior. Yeah.
no.
It's the kind of lifestyle that anyone can really get behind.
Of course, I much prefer raising horses personally myself. My horse Baradorok I've raised since it was a foal.
Exactly, and look how you turned out. Are you saying this child wouldn't like benefit from like what is that? What does that motion mean? I don't know what you're trying to.
Fainor, what's that on the track ahead? Let's go look. And I drag Fainor away from the kid.
As this is happening, Valinith is looking at the dude who's got a busted eye, and he's just like, "Well, that's what you get from the archery champion of Dale, huzzah!" And he starts like cramming like weeds and stuff into his eyeball to make it like stop bleeding. You know, actually doing medical things, but it looks vicious. It looks vicious, but he knows what he's doing.
And he's wincing like the whole time as you begin kind of repairing his eye socket, and you hear shrieks, and the whole time Belgo he's petting Rufus and says, "Rufus, a warrior? Rufus,
Nope,
are you a warrior, Rufus?" "Well, not a good warrior. Didn't really protect me all that much, did you? But you are a good boy, aren't you?" And he begins just like shaking his ears again.
Valinith picks up the arrow with the eyeball attached to it, and he looks at the eyeball, and he's like, "Wow, I really am a good shot." He takes off the eyeball and hands it up to Nymphiarion.
No!
Seeing what he does.
Are you trying to feed Nymphiarion an eyeball?
Whoa, what do you think you're doing? Whoa, I'm gonna shove. It's like getting between him and Nymph. I'm like, whoa, okay, back up.
I just figured waste not want not. This isn't gonna do him any good anymore.
Oh,
He hands it down to Rufus.
oh God.
Rufus, he
Theodric snatches the eyeball and throws it off into the forest.
How is,
Off
how
into
is
the
that
forest.
thing fully intact on the end of your arrow? That doesn't seem very possible.
Well, you know.
Well, no. So for the record, it's all the way through the eye, and so it's not like it just like stuck in the middle of the eye. Like the arrow is like all the way through the eye, and so like
Bobbed on there.
yeah. So
Oh
But no.
gosh.
Theodric snatches the eye before yeeting it into the forest, so we can stop playing
Thank
with it.
you.
I'm so glad that we don't have to deal with that anymore.
And Valinith
Oh,
is
Valinith,
just
what were
like,
you thinking?
well, I'm just, you know, I'm high on adrenaline right now. This is the first time I'm treating a patient
You're high.
of my own doing.
Jesus, man.
Of my own doing, I did this to him, and look, I'm now treating it. It's quite cathartic, don't you
Yes,
think?
yes, you sure did make him
boy.
see the error of his ways. Now, can we
I get it.
Fainal's
You're
hand
funny.
twitches.
You should hear his joke about fish. It's real good.
Fish.
Jalen.
I know lots of jokes about fish. You know, I was born on the lake.
yes.
No, I literally did not hear what you said. What did you say?
I said, would you like to make it out of these woods?
Oh,
Yes, I quite would actually. I hate these woods.
yeah, they're bad.
They terrify me.
Valinith's having a good time. He's loving these jokes. They're up his alley, right up his alley.
Well, if we don't have any more business here, we should probably get these fine people and our prisoners back to Asgaroth before night sets in and we get lost.
I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
already.
well,
evening,
it's pretty
so,
dark already.
Yeah.
Well, we should still do it.
I'm actually going to turn to Baldur and be like, oh, what road did you take to get here?
Oh, well, we usually have our routes along the, well, we have a barge that's not too far from here, but if we have room, we were able to get our horses and our caravan on that. I always ask my Tao when we come out this direction if we could see the bones of old Smaug. He was terrible dragon, and well, he kind of looks down and kind of sullen. Well, he's one of the last memories I have of my ma. He's scary, but there's something about him that does make me happy. Oh, if we pass by that way, maybe I can show you. Have you seen it? It's huge.
Well, I would like to see a dragon. Would anyone else like to see a dragon?
Let's get back to town.
You're already dragging a body right there.
I really don't like this place, guys. I don't feel like I've
deep
stated that
pain.
enough today.
We're already dragging D's bodies back to Lake Cut.
Yes, let's maybe get back to civilization.
And so you do. You pack everything up and get all the horses together, and you make your way back through Mirkwood. And you're all kind of figuring your way out, but you just follow the wagon tracks all the way out into, and about some time passes, and you're able to uncover the barge. It's late into the night at this point by the time you get everything loaded. Nymphiarion, he goes off back into the wilderness as you kind of depart and leave Mirkwood. And everyone gets on these barges, and one thing that you have noticed is these ponies need a lot of coaxing to get on this barge. And just like you can tell, like Baldur is like very skillfully able to put them at certain places to be able to keep kind of the balance of this barge. But you're able to load everything on as you begin to make your way. And Belgo, the whole time, he's telling you kind of the journey. The three bandits are tied up in the back of the wagon. Very, very tied up. At this point, Jonar is still unconscious, and the other two have gone silent as they just kind of like lay there, just completely bound. About 20-ish, 25 minutes into the barge ride, Belgo, he says, Look. And you can see in the long lake, it is a very, very clear picture. And you see just a few bones of what looked to be a rib cage peeking out over the waves. But as you look down, you see this sprawling carcass of Smaug laying down at the bottom. And you don't know what it is, but you can kind of just see like a glittering here and there. Maybe in the sand, maybe you don't know if it's just rocks or the way that the moonlight is catching the water. But this dragon and this bone in its immensity, it spans greater than anything you have ever seen, greater than anything you have ever faced. You can only imagine in this moment what it was like when Smaug came in, took over Erabor, completely decimated an entire people. And then when he was awoken and came and destroyed an entire city of men. It makes you think about the legends of Bard. How could something or some person take something like this monstrous down? And the fact that it stays as a reminder to the people of Esgaroth that, life might be good, but the shadow is out there, and in just a single moment, all that you love and cherish could be all lost. Each one of you, I'm going to have you make perception checks for me.
I'm good at that. Finally a rolling.
Hey.
I've been rolling like.
Can I turn to Belgo and go, I've met King Bard. We're actually friends.
Oh,
Would you call it friends? I mean, yeah, he seems pretty friendly to you.
I've met him once or twice. Not when he had his crown or anything, but my da and I used to do business with him when he would help with the fishing, back in the day. You do realize he has children? Did you know that? They're older than me now at this point. And he looks and he says, I think, his daughter's your age about, and he points up at Theodric. The other ones are adults at this point. They're princes and princesses. But, they were always really pretty, growing up. It doesn't surprise me that Bard would be a king. He was a good guy. He always had this, hope. Hope is all we can rely on these days, right?
A certain kind of air around him.
Absolutely. And, he liked my dad a whole lot. And, we used to help him out here and there. You see, he was poor. And, I was young at the time. But I do remember I didn't worry about money. And we were always giving money to people that needed it and providing business. It's what we did. My dad, he was a really renowned merchant. And Baldur, he says, no, Belgo. None of that now. But yes, well, Bard was a good man. There was something about him that was inspiring. And with that inspiration, there were a number of those that, after the Battle of the Five Armies, left with him from Esgaroth and, well, established Dale. But Esgaroth has always been our home, hasn't it, buddy? And he ruffles the hair of Belgo. Yeah, and I've been to Dale a couple of times. It's too big for me. The walls are too high, don't you think? He looks to you. Perception checks, all of you.
Should we tell you our perceptions? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mine was a 15.
15.
18.
18.
17.
17.
18.
18. All of you.
Hey,
That was really good, guys. This entire time as he's been talking, you can tell that continuously he's just been fiddling around with something on his neck. And the way, whenever he talks about, when he was talking about Smaug, when he talks about Lake Town and all of that, like, you can tell, like, he's, like, gripping it tighter and, like, loosening, gripping tighter and loosening, and just, it's kind of like almost like a nervous tick at this point. It's quite blatantly obvious.
So Baldur, may I ask you something?
Yes, absolutely.
Your son keeps clutching at his neck, and whatever is around him is safe, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing, no enchanted necklaces or anything like that.
Oh,
nothing wonky.
Enchanting, maybe not quite the word for it. Well, it's a trinket that's important to him, so I let him keep it. I tell him it's perhaps too valuable to be wearing out and about, but well, between us, you can't part him from it. So, no, he's fine.
He was planning on that.
No. And not to worry, I totally understand. And sometimes his behavior, well, it worries me, especially after his mom's passing. It's difficult being a parent of a young one. And he kind of just, like, drifts off a little bit, like, almost in kind of contemplation before he brings himself back. Well, life these past 5 years have been a little bit hard for us, but that little trinket there that he has does bring him some peace, and so I let him have it. And, well, he is my pride and joy. And if something so small, something so simple can help him in these times, why not? Right?
Yes, it is small comforts and small kindnesses that make the world go round.
Perhaps. Well said, well said. For someone so young and strapping, tell me, Theodric, man from Rohan. In all of my years, I've never made my way down that way, but they breed him large, don't they, down there? And he's just kind of like looking at you like kind of like up and down, just in awe.
Yes, I have to admit, and Theodric looks over at John and is like, I'm not used to finding anyone taller than me, at least not by such a margin.
Well, some of those that are born of Dalish descent do have height to them, but us here in Esgaroth, height is not our strong suit. But I will say, what you showed out there on the battlefield, it's incredible to see someone of such strength. And he kind of pulls you aside and whispers, my son. Well, he'd be glad to have someone to look up to like you, but also, don't go filling his head with things about war and, well, he's got too much to think about these days already. I just want him to be a child.
Yes, of course. warrior's path isn't for everyone, and it's not exactly one I'd recommend people.
And not everybody can take up the mantle of, well, at least adventuring out. This is why my family's been involved in the trade in Esgaroth for my entire life. And, well, you see, Belgo does not seem to be quite interested in the family business, which is fine. The one thing that I think helps him keep coming with me is our ponies, to be quite honest. He's so fascinated with animals. It's incredible.
Well, yes, I can relate. Coming
Could
from
you?
Rohan, we have our fair share of animal handling, and as Fëanor may have said earlier, I do have my beloved horse still waiting for me back at Esgaroth.
Indeed.
But perhaps you should try to indulge in your son's love of horses. Maybe turn that into a business idea. I know that good stables are always making good money.
That's some food for thought. Indeed. I find it's always good to, well, indulge their fascinations at a young age, especially as they grow in years and life takes hold and responsibility. Passion's a good thing for what you do, needless to say. Thank you. Your kind words are definitely something to contemplate about. And hopefully, we have many more conversations such as this ahead of us, perhaps. And he's kind of like, you could tell he's like very like blatantly hinting at something, but yeah.
Well,
As this is
yes, I do thank you for your words, Sir Belder, and hopefully we will have many more conversations like this.
Oh, Baldor's fine. Sir, well, haven't done anything recently to quite earn that title, but, Sir Theodoric would be more fitting. And he just kind of laughs.
As this is going on, Valinith is going between Fëanor checking up on the burn on his face, and he just says, "Aha, it's just a flesh wound. That thing will heal right over with your fair skin, Fëanor. Ha ha." And then he'll go to Jalen and Theodoric and say, "You two took quite the bonk on the head. Let me double check that your brains aren't scrambled." And he runs them through like concussion tests, and he's just like, "You'll be fine. Just sleep it off."
Aw.
He's just
Thanks,
doing
Valerie.
doing his doctor thing. I don't think it does
Yeah,
anything.
you're kind
but,
of like
you know.
the mom of the group.
Well, mother, indeed. I'm just doing my job. I'm here to look out for the health of those around me. It's my job, isn't it? And then he looks over to the guy who has the missing eyeball, and he's just like, "Yes, even the ones that I take down with my fierce instinct."
So you could say that you brought them into this world and you can take them out.
He gave birth to them? I don't think. I don't think that's what you're trying to say, but like.
All I have to say is, come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to not die.
And as you guys make your way on the barge, like dawn is on the horizon. The sky is becoming purple as the sun begins to rise from the east. You can see the lonely mountain rising up, piercing the sky. Spring weather is definitely on the horizon as it is a little bit chilly as you continue across. You are able to make your way to the docks, to which you're able to unload most everything. And Baldur, he says, "Well, do what you must with them, but, well, I've had some time to think about it, each one of you. I don't want to impose on whatever your business is, but our journey through the Mirkwood is dangerous. I made that journey a fair number of times in my life, and it always requires a few guard that know what they're doing. And those type of guards are in short supply these days. And, well, it would be an honor, and if not only to help with our livelihood, but to build further bonds as friends. If you would join us. We're already running a day late or so, King Thranduil is expecting us in his halls, well, probably in about a few hours from now. So he'll be quite disturbed to see that we haven't showed up, and we don't want to cause him much time for worry. Think on it. We plan on leaving, resting up, and, well, by the next morn, we will probably set out again. We will do everything that we can if you do say no to this business proposition, to find whatever guards that we can, but do know that we feel much safer in the hands of friends than we do, well, perhaps with just some people for hire here in the city. Think on it. You don't need to give an answer right away, but do know, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we do plan on departing.
Alright. I have a primary question and then a sort of secondary question. We had a brief encounter with King Tiandril. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't speak.
Thranduil, yes.
Thranduil. Yes, during the celebration of the Five Armies when we were at Dale. We didn't seem to leave a favorable impression in his mind. So do you think that'll be a problem at all?
You mean?
It was a group thing.
The
Look
chance.
at Theodric.
The chances are of actually encountering, well, King Thranduil is quite low while we're our time there. I usually just drop by and sell some of my goods at their cellars, which used to be run by a fellow named Galleon. Well, in recent years, unfortunately, he has taken a leave of absence. Something about dwarves. But there is a new man in town, and, well, he's taken the position of Master of the Cellars. Well, his name is Lindar, and I know not much from him, but I am good friends with, well, there is a, well, we don't just get into the halls ourselves. The plan is to meet a group of elves up on the shore, and, well, his name's Eldor. He is an elf from, well, he's a bargeman, and he makes his way to and from Esgaroth, and I meet him at a designated location every time we go on these expeditions. Quite friendly. I'm sure if you're a friend of us, friend to them. Cannot say the same about Lindar, and I can't necessarily say the same about Thranduil. But unless we are asked upon, chances of meeting the king, likelihood isn't very high. It's Lindar who you need to impress.
Fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I've done business with
That's what you
Lindar.
said last time, and then you got totally wasted.
It was just a small gap.
Yes.
We're overlooking one thing. We have Feanor with us. He is one of their people. We shall be wonderfully fine, I believe.
Does he look
Yeah.
like your average elf to you, Valinor?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
whoa.
blood runs deep, doesn't it?
It has been some years since I've been home, but it is my home nonetheless. I spent most of the last 100 years within the halls.
You're over 100 years old.
Yeah, he's an old
Yes,
man.
I'm
isn't he?
101. I actually turned 101 during the winter.
You're 101.
Valnith claps. Oh, what a mark of a young elf! My
Do you know what I
goodness.
did? Did you know what I did on the day of my birth?
What did you
that
do,
just passed?
Feanor? What did you do?
I was out in the woods with Nim, hunting boar. It was quite fun, actually. You know, I got to spend most of the day by myself. It's quite a pleasant day.
Sounds
Cool. I
wonderful.
spent my birthday this year in a cave hiding from orcs, so I'm glad you're having a good time.
Well, may your ears grow ever longer, my friends.
Yeah, alright.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Those human folk, their ears do not
Right.
grow long, do they? I should say, may the hair on your feet grow ever longer. Oh,
I'm not a hobbit!
Oh, yes, that is a hobbit. That's right. Yes, I'm
Theodric, this word hobbit
Wait.
means nothing to you.
What's a hobbit?
I don't know. But
I give
if
you
they-
the weirdest look.
no,
Okay.
it's fine.
No, the best way to describe what a hobbit is is
How do you know what a hobbit is and you don't know what a hobbit is?
well, okay, because I've actually met hobbits before. Thank you very much.
Me too. Me too.
Um, imagine like another word for them is like a halfling.
Oh,
To your
can I
eyes,
do
it'd be like
a
a child.
can I do a lore check
Yeah, go ahead.
just to know if like he's heard like story tales about halflings?
Hmm.
And then Valnith goes into a long story about how
That
when
is
he
a
was
9.
but how
To,
when
to
he
your
was
eyes, it'd be
traveling
not
south.
the child.
Yeah, when he was traveling south and he was passing by Isengard, he heard of a group of them that had gone by, and they're like, oh, they were taking the hobbits to Isengard, I heard, and I don't know what they would do there, but I'm sure, I'm sure great things, indeed.
Theodric, with that, the only thing that, yeah, there are tales about hobbits of your people, but the only thing that you can take is they're a wild folk. These are probably in reference to the wild hobbits of Wilderland. So, from your ancestors, there are a number of them that live in basically marshy holes in the ground. And they don't really speak the language of people, but they kind of have their own little societies, as it were, mostly in the Gladden Fields. This is a place that you're familiar with. It is a place of war, but there are a number of wild hobbits that lived in this area. But rumored that it's only rumors.
I I thought they were just fairy tales, just old stories.
Well, yeah, unless I'm sure Jalen could tell you more. Unless you travel to
could.
specific areas like the Shire, for example. Unless you go to a very specific places, you don't really run into hobbits very often.
You know what?
They're very
we'll,
reclusive kind of folk.
we'll deal with this first. I'm gonna come back to the fact that you don't know what hobbits are in a second. Um,
I'm sorry, not
to-
everyone's from the Brelands. There's a whole big world out there. I'm sure there are some people who don't even know where the Brelands are.
All you have to know, Theodric, is they have magnificent feet, if I've ever seen them.
And they can drink quite a lot. Like you'd be surprised.
Magnificent.
Oh,
no.
With that,
Yeah, but like I'm
Yes.
thinking like elves aren't real. Like elves are just fake
No,
creatures.
elves are next door neighbors. We know they're real. They're in history.
Yeah,
They do
so
lots of stuff.
Hobbits are my next door
Hobbits
neighbor.
aren't in history. Hobbits are a
Hobbits-
child's fairy tale.
I think.
When was
I
the
think
last
You
time
know
a
it was
Hobbit
the
changed
hobbit
the
that
world?
helped bring down the
Jalen.
fall of the dragon, right?
No, King Bard shot it down. We saw the dragon. We talked to King. Remember the Black
I think,
Arrow?
Hobbit there.
I think for Theodric, it's like imagine a garden gnome came to life. That for him is kind of what a hobbit is at the moment.
No.
It'll take some convincing.
Qu-
no.
Quite the observation, Feanor. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Wait, no, didn't we talk about? Didn't they announce at the Festival of the Five Armies that
There were
was
hobbits
a hobbits
at
and
the festival.
yeah, like Theodric, how did you not? Well, wait, no, you were quite drunk when we were going through a lot of the.
what's going through his mind is, why did they let children in here?
And why do they have such big hairy feet?
Yes, I remember the peas, and I remember the potato, and the shots, and then everything after is just foggy.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
It's okay.
Checks
I will
out.
show you a hobbit
Anyway.
someday, Theodric. One day we will show you one.
Boulder,
And we can admire
I'm
it.
so sorry for all of this. How much were you willing to pay us if we would accept this?
Indeed, if you're able to see us through to the end of our journey, and well, if we're not losing any cargo on the way, if we can make it all the way to Woodman Town in a timely manner, preferably by the end of the summer, I could pay you each 50 silver pieces.
Yeah, Woodman Town's actually quite a nice place. I lived there for a little while, and he just like starts like trailing off as he's like talking.
Is
Like,
there
Ah.
anywhere you haven't been?
yeah, there are a few places. Like I haven't actually been into the Brelands, but I have encountered many people who have lived there. I haven't been to Rohan. Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet.
You are quite the character, Fennel.
You see,
Quite worldly, yes, I am.
at this
Yes,
at
it
this
is impressive.
at this point, Jonar has stumbled awake. He's like all tied. This dude is all big and all brawn. As he's just, and He's gagged too, so he can't really say much of anything.
Nice.
Tiny's awake. Hey.
Ugh.
Alright, you guys wanna stay here and guard him while I go get the
Yeah,
guard?
I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
people look at him. We're still on the ferry, by the way, Chandler.
Yeah, but we're like in the dock.
Yeah.
Valinith will
Like
look
you're
over-
unloading and everything, so
Yeah.
you've
Yes.
made sure to kind of
Yeah, see if they
unload.
can get Captain Boris again. He was very nice.
So you do.
Daedric, why don't you go with Jalen? They recognize you, so you might be able
No,
to...
no, no. We kind of want like the big strong guy here in case they start causing
Hey.
trouble.
Oh,
Hey,
don't
like,
worry,
me
Valinith
with
and
my
Fane are on the case.
Yeah, Feanor with his really small stature's like, what do you think I am?
A
Look,
5'2" strongman. Yeah,
he's
we get it.
he's a 5'2".
I'll go by
marshmallow.
myself. I've got Rufus. I'll be fine.
Daedric, I'll fight you.
And so Jalen, you
Yeah.
make your way out, and you see that there's a number of people. It is a very bright and sunny morning, and there are a number of people that have gathered in the market pool, and many street vendors, and you can see one person that you recognize that is selling works of art. Ikari, perhaps? Seems to be doing a little bit better than the last time you met him. But you kind of just give him a nod, and then you keep going forward. And yay, thanks for the raid so much, Monsters and Mayhem. Appreciate it, thank you. But yes, and you go and you are able to go to the toll house to where you find Captain Boris giving the morning orders to everybody. Oh, it's very good to see you in one piece. We've been looking all over and, well, it seems like what you had to tell us was correct. We found the 3 bodies last night.
By any chance, were they known guardsmen who were known for having a good knowledge of the Mirkwood and being friends with the elves?
The very same. The missing persons report will go over every detail if you wish to see more about them. But poor fate to happen. They come well recommended and do a good job for helping the many merchants that come through this beloved city of Esgaroth. But what brings you here quite such early morning?
Well, last night, me and my mates took a barge over to Mirkwood area, and we found a merchant in rather dire straits. Our men seems had taken the identities of these guides and was trying to beat and rob this old merchant. So we intervened, and long story medium, we have the 3 perpetrators hog-tied in the back of a ferry in the docks. If you wanted to come with me, and I could hand them over to your custody.
Oh, of course. And he snaps, and like a few guards, probably about 4 extra guards come with him as you make your way down to the docks, to which they immediately take into custody Jonar, Kelmund, and Finnar. And the 3 of them...
Right guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
just confirming with Captain Boris.
Yeah, absolutely. And they immediately see them, seize them, and take them into custody. And the whole time, oh, you knew what happened the next time you came into this town. Oh, there's a price for your head. I see. Well, to the master of Lake Town House, we bring him before the people. Judgment is to be made before the day's end. Come, would you like to join us, speaking on behalf of what you had seen and encountered in Dale and also in Esgaroth? Adding perhaps to the crimes that many that there has been listed here.
Yeah, I'd be totally down for that. I feel like,
Got anything better to do with our afternoon?
yeah, I mean, apart from drink our way to oblivion,
It would be good to see justice done.
yeah, that'd be good.
And so you all make your way to
Yeah,
the
I feel
master's
like
house.
Valinith would be a good person to speak on like behalf of us because he was the one who had his vampire stolen.
Why an astute observation. I will speak of nothing but ill deeds.
And as you make your way, you all join the guards along with these 3 ruffians to the house of the master of Lake Town, Mortigar. and they are presented to him, to which he hastily schedules a hearing that will be happening in the town hall. Anybody who has been claimed a victim to anything that they've done or anything that has anything to say in defense or against these men are invited. And later that evening, you're all gathered in the basically this very tightly packed but large great hall, newly built as Garoth was newly rebuilt 5 years ago. And it's almost as if the entire town is there. You stand at the front between the three bound Kelmund, Jonar, and Finnar. They have been healed enough to where they can stand like on their own, and they stand gagged still amongst a crowd of very, very overwhelmingly angry people as they begin shouting and screaming at essentially the people that are there.
Hey, Jalen, you would have thought they would have removed that sock from his mouth. Like, why didn't they get a proper gag? It's, it would have to, like,
I kind of like it.
Like, he's a bad guy, but this seems like cruel and like torturous almost. At least give him a clean gag.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I had friends who had siblings that did much worse things to them, so, like, this is fine.
Mordegar, he
See, animals.
Animals, indeed. Indeed, look at them.
I mean, he kind of deserves it, though.
Mordegar addresses the rough and tumble crowd. My dear citizens of Isgoroth, we are gathered here today to address a matter of grave importance. As I can see, these men here have made quite an impact on your lives. These 3 men stand before us, charged with heinous crimes that have caused great harm to the community. Jonar, Gelmund, and Finnar have been found guilty of 36 counts of murder, 142 counts of embezzlement, intimidation, excessive violence, 14 counts of kidnapping, 6 accounts of rape, 18 of sexual assault, and 11 counts of human trafficking. Between the 3 of them, these men were banished from our city by the previous master, and according to all of your word, with warning that if they should return, they would face death. They did return, and with them came a wave of disappearances and fear. They have violated our laws and our trust, and have caused untold suffering to innocent people. They have shown no remorse for their actions, and have continued to commit atrocities even after being banished. Not only have these 3 ruffians violated our laws, but those of Dale for the past couple of years, and the authority of King Bard has been insulted by these men. It was the understanding of King Bard and myself that if these men were to ever be found breaking the laws of either people again, judgment would be given to them here, at the town on the lake, where the people affected by their crimes will pass on to them their punishment. Now, we face a difficult choice. And everybody is like, difficult? What are you talking about? Difficult? Well, do we banish these criminals once again and risk the return to our city to cause further harm? Or do we take a more severe measure and put them to death for their crimes? And immediately the entire, death! Death to them! And like overwhelmingly. Well. We have chance for people to speak on their behalf and for them to speak on their own behalf. But ultimately, people of Esgaroth, the decision is yours. My fellow citizens, I leave it to you to decide the fate of these men. If you choose to banish them, you subject these men to walk free. But they will be escorted to the northern wastes, where they are to spend the remaining years of their lives. And if they are ever to be found within the Dalelands, they be killed immediately and swiftly on the spot. If they arrive at the thresholds of any allies of our great peoples, no help will be given to them, no hospitality for the remainder of their days. However, if you choose to put them to death, they will be hanged this day at the market pool, as a warning to all those who would dare to harm our community, as a sign of justice being fulfilled. Does anyone here have something to say in defense of these, men? None. I see. Anything from their captors, those who have been charged with hunting them down, these wicked men, and bringing them to justice?
Valinith will take a step up, and he will clear his throat. And at this point, he has already like taken off his vambrace. Yes, Jalen.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
While that's happening, I just wanted to scan the crowd really quickly for Elena, the barkeep.
The barmaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make
It is
a
Thursday.
make a persuasion check, or not persuasion, a perception check as you do that.
Perception.
Valinith.
Okay, so, Valinith has already taken off his vambrace, and he kind of holds it up to, like, the crowd, and he says, "This all started in Dale with this vambrace of Numenor, one of my most prized possessions, being snabbed by a child, that of a mere child. And what could have led us to these three monsters?" And Valinith looks at them and just kind of like hangs his head in pity more so than anything. "Why, yes, the things that they have done in their life, they have been led astray here. But in the end, I was able to get my vambrace back. In the end, these men have been brought to justice. And in the end, those who have been hurt, especially those in Dale, have now moved on and found a better life. So at the very least, I'm happy some good could have come from this moment. However, as their captors, and as the person who has brought them to justice and brought them here to Dale, it is not my place to decide whether they are going to hang or not. But I see nothing but malice in their hearts, from what I can gather. Though I will say," and he actually points to the boy with the eyeball missing,
Kelmund. Yep.
Kelmund, and he says, "If any of them deserve to be free, it is not these two," and he points to the
Jonar and
two
Pinar.
big men, "but this man with the missing eye. And I'm not saying that he should be set free. However, he does seem to have a lot of life left in him. Maybe like those young ones that we had encountered back in Dale. Maybe they have something in common in a sense and in a way. And I'm not saying death isn't the right thing, but I don't know, especially for the young, maybe there could be some reform of some sort. However, I do not know which it should be. Ultimately, is up to you, citizens of Lake Town, but from what I can see, this man has been through quite a bit of suffering, and he is quite a coward. So, I don't
Make
know.
a persuasion check for me,
Any of
Jalen.
my companions, anything else that you have to say?"
If the suffering that they have brought you is too great to bear, then spare these men not. If their suffering will bring you comfort, banish them to the wastelands. And that's all he's saying.
Theodric.
Cool. 12, by the way.
Oh, 12.
Theodric just kind of turns to the group and is just like, "You've exiled them once before, and it didn't seem to stick. Exiling them again doesn't seem to exactly be the best plan. There's nothing to really stop them from doing this all over again. And
And,
That's all he's got to say.
and Valnith thinks in his heart, like deep down, and he speaks up and he says, I know these people have done terrible things to you. Trust me, I've seen some very terrible things in my long life on here at Middle Earth. However, one thing I do ask is you don't let hate run your life. I know there's a lot of hate to go around with these men. However, if you do decide to put them to death, I don't think there will be solace in this death, and I don't think you will find solace. But what you can do is you can work on yourselves, and even if they are put to death, learn to move on with your life. And learn to make this place a better town. And learn to help those around you as opposed to take and steal. Learn to be a hero here in this town. We heard those words from the good King Bard himself. And I believe they work for this situation as well.
Jalen, what was your perception?
Unless someone's helping me, I am not seeing anything. I got a natural one.
Okay. You're so overcome because you already said it to me. We'll just continue on. You're so overcome at this point with whatever emotions are going through you. If you have anything, you're not able to see much out amongst the crowd. Do you have anything to say to the crowd before verdicts are made?
Yeah. I stand before everyone today as someone who does not know this man. I have never seen these men before this evening. But I have seen the anguish and utter ruin and catastrophe that they leave wherever they go. I have seen a child my age, maybe even younger. I saw him bleeding out from a head wound that this man inflicted upon him for not being able to steal enough to suit his greed. I have seen the effect that they have had on this city, and I have heard stories about people who have lost who they love to the absolute evil and vileness of their natures. I am confident that I could listen to all of your stories. You have all lost someone. You have all every reason to hate these men. And you know that. You know that better than I do. I have seen what they do to this city, and I have seen what they do to this world. They are nothing but a festering wound. And this wound needs some healing. And maybe the best thing to do is to cut the infection out before it can spread further, so we can try to mend the things that they have tried to break irreparably.
Make a persuasion check for me.
And Valnith actually speaks up, mending indeed, and he goes into this big speech about
Oh boy.
but
I don't know if I could get disadvantage from that.
No, but in the end, Valnith does want to say that, yes, the thing that these men have done is unforgivable, and of course, but even if you do decide death upon these people, death is not going to bring you solace. The death of these men will not bring you solace. But do your best in your life, again, to recover and overcome this darkness that has plagued this town.
Jalen?
Blade does not heal. It only causes more anguish.
What about arrows?
They're sharp. Jalen.
Think-
Very
as-
pointy.
yeah. As
got
a
a
warrior,
19.
I know that the blade does not heal. That these scars will remain, that they will be scars that stay on you for the rest of your life. Are you willing to let these men die here now, knowing that it ends for them here? And this is it for them. There is no other punishment, there is no other way that they could possibly redeem themselves. I'm not saying that perhaps they should not be put to death. But do not let your hatred cloud your judgment. Everyone deserves justice. That's all.
And with that, everybody looks and everyone kind of like quiets down as there's like muttering amongst everybody to figure out what's going on. And you have Mortigar. He says, "Well, it seems we have the captors have spoken, and you all spoken amongst yourselves. We'd be spending many a day here if we heard every one of them speak, and we will leave it to a vote to determine what they will be. But there are one last peoples who need a chance to speak. These three in front of us, Jonar, Finar, and Kilmund. What do you have to say for yourselves?" And they go and they untie each of them one at a time. The first one that they untie is Kelmund. And he is just, the whole time, has just been weeping. I'm sorry. Please. Mercy. Please have mercy. That's all he's able to say. And then the next one they ungag is Finar, who kind of and looks at all of you and says, "When the dragon fell, our lives weren't the only ones that are ruined. A number of you, your livelihoods destroyed, homes burned, loved ones lost. We only did what we did to survive. Surely you can relate to that." And he just kind of like stares daggers at everybody. And then finally Jonar, he is basically unmasked. And he has this stoic face. "You're all weak. Yes, we did terrible things to you. But only because you were too weak to stop us. The world out there, it's a dog-eat-dog world. If you are not stronger, it is your end. If this is to be my last," he points to the group of you, the four of you, "I was outdone, fair and square. I have no remorse for the things that I did. I leave it up to you." Any last words before final judgments are made?
I have a quick question. Oh, go ahead. I know you were wanting to say something.
No,
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
My question was sort of answered.
Okay. Is there a split
I guess
judgment?
I have a question for Kelmund actually,
Okay.
if I can.
Hmm? Yeah, absolutely.
So I was thinking too.
How did they convince you to come back to a city that you knew you would be put to death if they caught you?
It might not seem like it. Through all my years, they're all I've had. They're all I know. The things that we did to people were orders that I was given by the old master. The things that I did afterwards is because I didn't have a livelihood. I came back to the city because there was promise of a job. There was promise of something to do that I never would have to do this another day in my life. I can't promise that I wouldn't hurt anybody else if I were to be let go. It's the world that I know, the world that I grew up in, the only world that I know. But I promise I don't come back here. I know the way you look at me. It's how I used to look at all of you. I'm nothing more than prey. But this time, the roles are reversed. It's too late to say it. If this is anything how you felt, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine the terror and the fear. As he just hangs his head and begins crying.
I'll step away.
Okay.
Is there any way as that there could be a split decision, or is it all in one?
Well, I mean, it is a vote, so it depends on how you want to persuade the crowd, as it were.
Well, I mean, Valnith kind of made his plea for Kelmond anyways, so...
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Kelman did a pretty good job of convincing, like, you know, pleading his own case.
Okay.
Just each of them should be judged individually.
Okay.
Like that way, at least it's fair.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think Kelman gets some wiggle room. The other two just.
Oh no, they are straight evil.
Let's see what the city decides, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with that, I'm going to have one person, and it's because Valnith was initially the one who engaged in the beginning of this conversation. You are going to make a persuasion check, but with the backing of everybody else, this is going to be at advantage. And you are additionally
Triple
going to gain a
advantage.
+2 to the roll.
So
we're trying to
persuasion?
persuade them to just let Kelman.
Is that what you guys are wanting?
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
what
The
it kinda seems-
eyeball. Well,
Yeah.
who's missing
he's-
the
I mean,
eyeball?
Yeah,
yeah,
Kelman.
that's
Okay.
Kelman.
Exile for
Persuasion.
Kelman, death for the other two. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
still exile at the very least for them, but
I would
it's not.
love it
It
if
was kind of
Kelman
not
got
viewing
like
it as
a
his
like
place to
like a-
decide what happens with the lives of men.
Mhm.
Like especially these men, they have not slighted him, but he's more likely to have committed the quote unquote mercy of letting them out into the wilds where orcs roam.
Did you guys just see that? Natural 20 plus 2, 22.
Jalen, what did you want to say?
You know what? I kind of forget.
The natural 20 does that to you, doesn't it?
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah,
And with
alright,
that,
then.
more to...
Well, I'll tell you though, Valnith, he may be the one who's persuading, but Valnith as a character has no stake in this.
Mm.
He doesn't want to like influence this at all. He's just
No, that's fine. But you're the one who brought up the whole idea of like the... So, and with that, Mortigar, he says, "No, I leave this decision to you, people of Esgaroth. What say? Is it death, or is it exile in the wastes?" He puts his hand over Finnar. "What is the verdict for Finnar?" There's a little bit of talk. And ultimately, death. He puts his hand over Kelmund. And there's more time that passes. People are tied. In the moment, people are feeling a little bit askance to maybe saying anything. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, exile. And finally, the ringleader of the three, Jonar. and immediately death. And he smiles a big grin. It was a good run that we had, lads. And with that, we're going to end our session.
Sweet.
The emotional roller
This got
coaster of
dark.
the session. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like
Oh,
real life
I-
stuff.
Literally and figuratively. This
Oh
got
my
dark.
gosh.
mean,
I do. I liked that because it was able to. I feel like some of our personalities and we could put our characters like worldview, like because it's like that was more like, what are your ethics? Do you believe in the death penalty?
Aww, your raiders.
Thank you,
God,
Crit
that
and
would
Miss,
be a
for
great
the
thing for them to
raid.
come in.
We
to.
just finished up our session. How's it going,
Just
everyone?
finished the session. I'm
How's
so
it going?
sorry.
How's it going?
Imagine going into a raid and hearing the death penalty.
Oh man. Okay, would we like some out of context quotes for the raiders?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
If you wrote them down.
So quick, I do want to review. So we are doing an Adventures in Middle Earth session 13. So this is a D&D 5e campaign that takes place in the world of Middle Earth. The main characters are me, Valinith. I'm a high elf scholar from Rivendell. We have Diedrich.
I'm Toby the Australian. I play Theodric, who is a man of Rohan. He is a slayer.
And I play Jaylin, a warden of the Breelands to some, a human of Silver Tongue to others. And also Rufus, he's my dog.
And then I am Fëanor. I am the Slayer woodland elf, who is looking pretty fly with his short hair, dwarven and men clothes, running around with like 8 weapons, always just passing them out to whoever needs one in battle.
And
I've got
yeah,
a white stag that I ride into battle.
I love it. And I am Kyle. I am the lore master of Adventures in Middle Earth. We are here with Wilderland Adventures in the very beginning of this journey. So thank you so much for joining us at the end. If you do want to catch up on any things that you have missed up until this point, we have our previous videos and we upload them weekly on YouTube. And so you can check that out. And yeah, we do start at 7 p.m. JST. And so if you want to see that, if you want to figure out times and everything for that, go ahead and check out the Discord and all that good stuff. One more time, we do actually have a sponsor here at Fantasy Forge Studios. It is Daisnaki. They are a Japanese sweets and luxury treats company, and they just released their matcha box for a month. Until June 14th, you can purchase by saying Forge sent you your own very own matcha box. And not only does it help a small family business in Japan, Tokyo, Japan out, but it helps us out here on the channel as well. And if you do mention, you will get tickets towards a free raffle of an omakase box that will be gifted once we hit our referral limit. And so we really appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Any last minute things from the party before we sign off, as it is getting late?
Did we want the out of context quotes? Or
Yes,
was
do
it
it.
favorite?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Quote number 1. The wiggling worked. Pause for laugh. He was technically hit. And okay, I think what the highlight of the stream was eyeball skewer.
Okay.
So just something
Delicious.
to ruminate on.
Delicious.
And thank you so much, guys. Any of you guys who do end up following, Anonymia. Thank you guys so much. We do have for our tabletop RPG streams, I mean, I'm sure you guys understand, we do have notifications turned off for our tabletop RPG streams. However, we do appreciate any followers and anyone who joins our channel. Thank you so much, guys. We do stream Adventures in Middle Earth every single Wednesday. So, with some exceptions, basically, if the Lore Master is gone, we can't stream, but otherwise, we're going to be streaming every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to around 10 p.m. Japan Standard Time, which is where both the Lore Master and myself live. We also do, if you are just interested in new games, we have a wonderful original game that we're producing here at Fantasy Forge Studios called Everlast. And Kyle, the Lore Master, is the creator of Everlast. So, Kyle, do you want to talk quickly about that without going into too much?
Yeah. It's a world that I've created and it's been in the works for years, but it's a completely new system, tabletop RPG, where a group of people go to fight the Void, which is basically a wicked, basically hellish entities that are there to take over the world of Everlast. And so it's really cool, new mechanics and everything. We're still in the playtesting phases of it, and so when you join our streams, those are going to be on Saturdays, JST at 10:30 a.m. Most of our players are in America for that, and so yeah, that's going to be Friday night for those on the west side of the world. But yeah, it's a really good time. If you want to support us, we do have a Patreon and all that kind of stuff, and with some pretty cool rewards. But go check that out. If you haven't, go check out the Discord. All the information is there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and close this sucker down.
We do,
What do you think?
also, if you do want to catch up on anything, we do have a YouTube channel as well. So feel free to check up on anything. I just posted the last 3 Everlast sessions today on YouTube. So lots of content for you guys to catch up on if you're interested. But yeah.
Sweet.
Also, keep in mind we won't be able to be doing this next week because Nick, you're visiting family, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on if someone else is able to come stand in Feanor's shoes, to put it, I guess. So, no, I'll see what I can do.
I don't
Sweet.
think I can do it justice.
And I'll be talking to. I'll let Kyle know what's going on during the week. If I'm able to find anyone, or if
True. But we also do have normal streams throughout the week, so we stream all kinds of things. So on Thursdays and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I stream at 7 p.m. Japan Standard Time, same time as this, and we're currently doing some Tears of the Kingdom playthrough on Mondays and Wednesdays. In the morning on 7 a.m.
7 a.m. JST. On Mondays, I stream Bravely Default 2 until that's finished, and then we're almost done, like 1 or 2 streams. And then on Wednesday, it's Tears of the Kingdom, and then after Bravely Default, it's going to be Monday and Wednesday is going to be Tears of the Kingdom. So lots of Zelda on this channel
And then
right now.
Cole Forged, who's another personality here, who's one of our American personalities, he is currently streaming Age of Calamity, and that will be this Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Japan Standard Time. So without further ado, thanks for stopping by, and Kyle, take us out.
And may the road go ever on and on. Bye, everybody.